of the music out. All right. So just for my editing purposes, what I'm going to do is I am going to start my music and then we'll get going there. All right. All right. Let's get it. All right, so I did that so I can get the intro right when I do my editing. So it sounds cool when after it's edited, it sounds good. You got some intro music, and then we get right to it. Now, I'm gonna do a lot of reaction type thing to some of these videos. I'm gonna bring in. We haven't really dove into the securitization part, but we'll make sure that we get into that first, and then I'm gonna go to the streams. Okay, so here we go. Let me share the whole entire screen. Let me get the cartoon off. All right, so let's get it up. Boom. Now, we're gonna go down here and let's find warrant. All right. I used to always get irritated when these people used to do their lessons. You know what I'm saying? They used to do their lessons, and they used to always talk about somebody as a defendant. But my whole thing is that everything's just not being a defendant. You know, somebody that always got to respond. We need to be on offense. I'm an offensive guy. How can I get the ball in my hands? Playing defense the whole time, you're not scoring. just playing defense. So we had to figure out a way to change the game a little bit and figure out how we can get on offense. But they all say defense wins championships. We also say defense creates easy buckets. So, you know what I mean? This is where we're going to get at. All right, let me go ahead and just talk about that, make sure I'm on camera. We're going to go over here to security. My bad, damn. Did I give it up? No, we was going to warrant. All right. Go to security real quick so I could mark that page number since I'm on my way over there. All right, what's that? 1598. All right. 1598. Let me write this down real quick. 1598. Securities. All right, let's go to warrant. Got some watermelon in my teeth. All right, so warrant. Okay, here we go. Let's get it up a little bit bigger. All right, so here's warrant. What is this, 1832? 1832 warrant. I want you guys to know what a warrant is. We say, we're going to put out a warrant on you. Put out a warrant on you. Now, remember, this is, minimize this a little bit just to remind everybody who might be looking for the first time or might be listening to it later. What is he reading from? Black's Law Dictionary, 4th edition. This is the revised 4th edition. This is definitions of the terms and phrases of American and English jurisprudence, ancient and modern, by Henry Campbell Black, M.A. So that M.A. is a master's association. He has some other things that he has authored as well. So now, let's get back to it, 1832. All right, so this is warrant. So you know exactly what a warrant is. All right, let's see what a verb is. The first thing it says is in contracts. Nothing criminal yet. Let's look for the criminal thing, because when we think warrant, right, we think it's criminal. They say, I'm going to put out a warrant on you. So pretty much what they're saying is they're putting a contract on you. It's a contract. We know what that means. You know what I'm saying? M-O-B-B. We know what that means, right? Put a contract on somebody. Yeah, they're coming to get you. That means somebody has been paid. Somebody has been made an offer to do a thing, and that other side accepted that offer. It was signed off on. So there's the contract. Go get them. Now, it says in contracts to engage or promise that a certain fact or state of facts in relation to the subject matter is or shall be as it is represented to be. So who signs off on warrants? These are all rhetorical questions. You can put them in the chat if you want to. It's up to you. But who always signs off on a warrant? Number one. The second question, which should have been the first question, who requests a warrant to be signed off on? The other aspect of it is number 3, who is the warrant issued for? So somebody requests a warrant, somebody agrees, signs off on the warrant, and then the warrant is issued, right? Issued. Now in contracts, we pretty much saw what issued means. Issue. When you issue something, that means something is being exchanged of value, or there is something that is of some form of property that is the collateral to be seized. Now, in this paragraph, we'll take it line by line. It says to engage or promise that a certain fact or state of facts in relation to the subject matter. Now, what is that subject matter? Based on what we know, right? Remember, what we know to be a warrant. What is the subject matter? You, me. If a warrant is issued, somebody needs to go get picked up. And usually it's the body. So, but the last part of it says that the subject matter is or shall be as it is represented to be. So when that certain entity, agency, individual issues a warrant or requests a warrant to be signed off on by another entity, individual, so on and so forth, that first entity that is issuing or requesting a warrant to be signed off on is pretty much stating some facts, right? So it's promising to the one signing off on that warrant that the subject matter and the state of facts or other certain facts is actually what it is to be. And the key thing is represented to be, right? What is represented to be? So if I put something in front of you, I say, hey, this is a t-shirt. This sign right here is the sign that I'm dealing with. This is the sign or logo, and it is Nike, and it is worth $50. I need you to sign off on this because we have money or some form of collateral that can expand on and be securitized per se. This is just me talking. All right. Trying to say something without saying too much right now. Just throwing that out there. We all know when you hear warrant, you know what you're talking about. That is the verb. That is an action. That is what's actually taking place, right, when you're dealing with warrants. Now, that's in contracts. In conveyancing, right? So when you hear the word conveyance or conveyancing, that is a transfer of title. So in conveyancing, and we know that's dealing with real property, right? We deal with mortgages, homes, and stuff like that. You do a conveyance. You convey the property over, so on and so forth, blah, 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 right? All right. Now, it says to assure the title to property sold, to assure the title to property sold by an express covenant to that effect in the deed of conveyance. Now, we know what a warrant is by what we know in our community of circle and where we're at. We always dealing with that fact because that's what they got. That's what they surrounded us with. Criminality. So pretty much everybody know what a warrant is from what we know. But nobody ever thought warrant meaning this specific thing. Now, the rest of it says to stipulate by an express covenant that the title of a grantee shall be good and his possession undisturbed. No criminal yet, though. No criminal. No criminal. Not yet. All right, let's keep going. Let's see what the noun is. Right? A writ or precept from a competent authority in pursuance of law, directing the doing of an act and addressed to an officer or person competent to do the act and affording him protection from damage if he does it. So let's start with the last part. And affording him protection from damage if he does it. That means that there has been some indemnity bond or some indemnification done. So if there's an indemnification done, that means there's a bond attached to it. So if whatever happens, when that officer does that thing, then that means that they are indemnified from doing what they need to do. Now you see why a lot of these police are getting off. Because they have been indemnified by the judge. Let's get to it right away. By the judge. Right? And if the judge indemnifies them, that means the district attorney's office is indemnifying them. We're just talking on the state level, county level, state, county level. The district attorney's office is indemnifying them. And if the district attorney indemnifies them, then that means the attorney general of the state of California is indemnifying them as well, because everything has to come through the AG, the Department of Justice. The Department of Justice has attorney generals in every state. And the attorney general is over all judicial matters, even the judge. I don't know if you guys knew that. So when we get back to the top, it says a writ. A writ is an order. Okay, a writ is an order. It says or precept from a competent authority. You remember we was talking about, right? We was talking about competent courts. Quorum non judice. Quorum non judice means without a judge. Subject matter jurisdiction is what they're talking about. So for you American Aboriginal Indigenous Indians, thereby put in suspect classifications as Black, Negro, colored, otherwise, and you claim and you take hold of that Aboriginal American Indigenous Indian title, here you go. Even if you want to stay Black, stay Negro, stay African American, you need a passport to get out of here, buddy. Can't just leave. All right. So even under the circumstances, this still applies. See, me, I don't discriminate. I don't discriminate. I would say, like the elders say, bless your heart. Well, the elder women always say that. Men don't say that. I haven't heard a man say that. I say that jokingly. Bless his heart. Bless her heart. If you want to stay that way, bless your heart. Well, I'm going to give you something here, because even though you still claim those Civil Rights Act, and you know those Civil Rights Acts are Indian Civil Rights Act. Last time I checked, I think I showed that yesterday. So under the circumstances, here we go. Let's get back to it. So this writ or precept, right? So an order or precept, chin. So the preception of it. So there's pre in the middle, that's before. So this order, this writ is based off a precept of what somebody has brought to them in regards to what they assume it to be, assumptions and presumptions, right? Prima facie. Connected to what? Connected to statute, codes, and colorable law or colorable law. So when you're dealing with this specific issue, this is how you can level the playing field. This is how you can take all the emotions and all the football numbers and all the excess things, and you can say, oh, is this what they're doing? Okay. Now the game slows down. You know what I'm saying? You got a blitz coming at you. Full blitz coming at you. All angles. Bam, bam, bam. But you already know that but when the game slows down, you know that you got a line protecting you. And you got to rely on them to do their job. And focus on your job. So you got your line. You got your receivers running their patterns. You got your out back right here. You got your back. It might take a quick out to bail you out over here. And you know you might eventually have some lanes where you can actually use your legs and run. So, under the circumstances, here you go. Now, when we get to these certain words, a competent authority. Yesterday, writ, right? A writ of quo warranto. A writ is an order by me for them to provide me their authority to do anything that they're doing. And that one of authority, that writ quo warranto, all that stuff is Latin. It's Latin. That's ancient. So all these things say, well, that's Roman law, that's English law, American law. Well, it's still all the same. Its foundation is in American law. So you are ordered to provide me your proof of authority. And you better do it in affidavit form, and it needs to be sworn under and affirmed under penalty of perjury. And you better do it immediately. I need it now, right now. Well, no. If you don't have it right now, you're supposed to come in this building with it ready and prepare for that. If you don't have it, then you need to do what? Skedaddle. Bye. Go get me somebody that can. Better yet, hey, you know what? Over there, Baylor, can you escort this individual out of here, this imposter? I need them out of my sight right now. How realistic is that? I know you people are going to be asking, how realistic is that? Really? You going to do that? Yeah, I am. Yeah, I have. And yeah, I will. Again and again and again. You see, snail pace is everything. Even if you don't know how to play chess, I think you should try. It slows you down. So the next part of it is in pursuance of law. So what do we know what law to be? We got colorable law. No. We got rule of law. Yes. National and international. So I can pick and choose. So if you want to stay colored, you deal with national law. And even under the circumstances in the colorable aspect of it, you can do this under consumer law. Because all I'm seeing right here is contracts. Because in the verb access of it, it says contract, conveyance. So even in this warrant being the noun, this is how it's framed, the noun. This is the body of it, person, place, or thing. The verb of it is the action. What does it turn into? Would you talk about the act? Either conveyance or contract. So now when we look at this, right? Because it's saying it's directing the doing of an act. An act. An address to an officer or person competent to do the act. There's go competent again. So the officer or person needs to be competent. Remember fiduciary responsibility, either in their official capacity or in a private vocation. It could be the same. This is where you get Bell's bondsmen at, or you get people, what are they called? These people that come after you. Can't think of the name right now. The go get them people. All right. So these people competent to do that. What does that competent mean? What, they have license, they have training. What is the competence of it? All right. So in this warrant, the body of the warrant does one specific thing. It protects the individual, the person or officer from damage. It is a insurance security bond. Now, in that officer, when them people come to the house, right, when they come heavy, and anything happens at that time, that warrant protects them. Because we were called out here by them. So, but nobody does what? Attacks them. But in the military, it says that if you know something to be a violation of anybody's constitutional right or any type of crime or offense against humanity or somebody's human rights, you must decline that order. You have a right to decline that order. Even if it costs you to be arrested, you must decline that order, because you know that for all intents and purposes, this warrant is colorable and is not pursuant to law, or what we know law to be in America, what it's supposed to be. All right. So, number 2, particularly a writ or precept issued by a magistrate, justice, or other competent authority. Magistrate, justice, or other competent authority. We're going to look up what a magistrate is. Okay. And it's addressed to a sheriff, constable, or other officer, requiring him to arrest the body of a person therein named, and bring him before the magistrate or court to answer or to be examined touching some offense which he is charged with having committed. The body, got it? The body of a person. So we've looked up plenty of times what a person is. Title 26, all different. Title 15, we know what a person is. We also looked it up in contract law. A person, and we looked it up in the executive order that was put out back in 1933-34 by, what's his name? Roosevelt. A person is an individual, corporation, partnership, association, trust, estate. There's no man, there's no woman, none of that attached to it. All of these things are attached to those entities. And if you know that to be true, We'll reference it. I'll give you one more. A 1040. I said it yesterday. A 1040 individual income tax return. Income being profit. Individual being a sole proprietorship. The other aspect of it is what? Take one guess. Small business, self-employed. All right. 1040 for that. 1041, estates and trust. 1065, limited liability partnerships and associations. 1120, S, small corporations, S Corp. 1120, straight off top, C Corp. Okay. All taxable. Now, let's keep going. An order by which the drawer, remember, when we looked up Negotiable Instruments Act, no, the Bill of Exchange Act, the BOE, Bill of Exchange Act, what was one of the key terms in there? Yeah. Well, remember, we had the drawer and the drawee, right? UCC 3 definitions, right? UCC 9 definitions. We're not going to go back to that. Just keep that in mind. So, what does it say? An order by which the drawer authorizes one person to pay a particular sum of money. When that warrant is issued, there is a dollar amount behind that. Them just go get them papers. How much am I getting? To go get them. Yeah, they're getting something. They're getting paid. And guess where it's coming out of? Yeah, this warrant is basically going to be issued. It's going to be secured. It's going to be bonded, and that body is going to be secure collateral for that amount. So once we get him in here or her in there, we already know what we're going to do. We're going to fingerprint them. We're going to push that in, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do that. And now we got a case number, an account number, ... Yeah, you'll get your money. Okay, now, number 4, an authority issued to a collector of taxes. Empowering him to collect the taxes extended on the assessment roll and to make distress and sale of goods or land in default of payment. All right. We'll just keep going. I ain't about to do all that, but we'll just keep it going. A command of a council, board, or official whose duty it is to pass upon the validity and determine the amount of a claim against the municipality to the treasurer to pay money out of any funds in the municipal treasury, which are or may become available for the purpose specified to a designated person whose claim therefore has been duly adjusted and allowed. Now, you see the players? So as I'm reading all these off, it's spelling out who all the players are that involved with the action of what we consider to be a warrant to be. You guys with me? Don't follow me. Be with me. Just saying. These are the players. All right? All right. Keep up. In England, a dividend. Oh, my goodness. 1099 DIV, warrant, or coupon. Oh, my goodness. Publication 1212, right? Got publication 1212, and we discussed what was the other thing? Yeah, 18 USC subsection 8. I think coupon was in there too as well. And we'll just stay there. Also, it's under Uniform Commercial Code as well. All right. So now we'll come here. Let's see here. I'm looking for something else. Damn. Okay. All right, I think that's it. Yeah, it didn't give me the other part. All right, so now what we're going to do, let's go to security. You guys got that? All right. Whoa, let's go back here. Let's go back here. I forgot to read this part right here. All right, so we're coming back right here. Let's see if we get this a little bit bigger. All right, so what it says right here, it says a warrant differs from a bond in that a bond is a negotiable instrument, whereas a warrant is non-negotiable and is subject at all time to the defenses it will be were it in the hands of the original payee. This is the only difference between a warrant and a bond. That's why I said it is a bond, but it's non-negotiable. And in the terms of negotiable is considered to be more on the public side. So that means if it's negotiable, but the bond being negotiable, promissory, whatever, it can be moved around from us. Well, let me not say that. Not moved around, but it can be rescinded, or it can be dang, what's the word I'm looking for? It can be it could be adjusted. It could be adjusted. Let's just keep it like that. I can't even think of the word right now. But a warrant is non-negotiable. Usually when something is non-negotiable, it's considered to be private. That means here are the terms. You see what I'm saying? And that's where you get your orders in there. So this is where we talk about special endorsements or deposit with specific instructions, special deposits. You know, when you give orders, it is non-negotiable. That means it's private between the parties. Okay. So, and it says, okay, in the hands of the original payee, which is not the case with a negotiable bond. Okay. So I just want you guys to see that difference. Now let's go over here to 1598. Let's go over here to security. We'll get back to securities in a minute. Okay, so here's a security. Protection, assurance, indemnification. The term is usually applied to an obligation, pledge, mortgage, deposit, lien. Given by a debtor in order to make sure the payment or performance of his debt by furnishing the creditor with a resource to be used in case of failure in the principal obligation. This is how they transfer that. This is how they transfer it. Switch sides. But if you keep everything the same, you keep it non-negotiable, it still can be securitized, but you have full control. So let's say if there is a warrant and it was a warrant issued to you, you know what it is now. It's non-negotiable. It's between the parties and you're the body. They come to get you. You say, hey, let me see that warrant. I need to view that warrant. I need to examine it right now. Well, no, I need to see it right now. You say, okay, what's that warrant for? I know the definition. Can you spell it out to me? Give me full, clear disclosure on what that is right there. Well, it's a warrant for your arrest. For what? What is the warrant for? What is a warrant? Spell it out. People say, well, shit, they ain't gonna do nothing but get you messed up. Yeah, they're gonna do this, they're gonna do that. Well, if you know how to approach the situation, then it won't. See what I'm saying? I just read to you what a warrant is. So we know that security is a protection, assurance, indemnification. Now, the bottom part says the name is also sometimes given to one who becomes surety or guarantor for another. Now, we saw 18 USC subsection 8. We saw 31 USC 5118, A2, D2, D1 and 2. We know that the United States is the guarantor and guarantees and liable for all debts, public and private, correct? This is why I say how it lines up. United States, states, you. Really is you, United States, states, or you, states, United States. This lines up the same. Based on what I showed you what a warranty is on the verb side and the noun side. So you have those papers that are attached to you, you know what I'm saying, that are attached to you. And that's why they say they come after the body in order to seize whatever needs to be seized so you can be the surety or guarantor. So you have to know what a surety or guarantor is, a surety for those things. To come after that body. But don't forget 42 USC section 1994, right? Peonage abolished. No man should be held under any form of peonage for any debts. That is totally void. Any of them from this point forward is void. It's void. But nobody knows that. Why? Because the game is moving too fast. It's too fast. It's had a situation not too long ago. All right. Family member popped a tire. Went out there, helped my people. Boom, 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 boom. Don't know what happened. Late night. Police roll up. Pete, 3D. Right? Dude jump out the car real risky. Everybody else quiet. I said, don't say. I said, here they come. Don't say nothing. Now he said, oh, what's this? I said, hey, man, calm down. What's the issue? Oh, well, we got a call. Well, who'd you get a call from? Oh, that's private. Okay, well, what you got? What questions you got? Because if you ain't got nothing, I ain't got nothing. Well, is this, that, and the other? Da, 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 da. Okay, well, cool. We over here fixing this tire right now. Anything else? Such. I said, well, look, check this out. You heard of Miranda? Last name Ranks. Say something else. Give me your watch, Commander. Boom. Lady jump out the car. Come around on the other side. Take my eyes off him. And I said, what? May I help you? Well, we just trying to figure out. I said, look, go get your watch, Commander. I'm not talking to you. We changing this tire. What do you want? If you're not going to provide me any information, we ain't got no information for you. Now have a good day. Simple. You guys are very aggressive. What's all this aggressiveness about? We standing here changing a tire. What's all this aggressiveness about? So let's go over here to arrest. Let me bring this over here, because one of those things was arrest, and then we're going to look up what assurance is, because people think about insurance, not assurance. Let's go over here to arrest. Let's get up here, and then we'll get to the streams. Maybe. Let's go to arrest. Where'd it go? Okay, I'm right here. Let me just stay right here with assurance. ASTU, assure, assurer, assurance. All right, so assurance. So assurance is a pledge, guarantee, or surety. All right, so that's what that is. And conveyancing, a deed or instrument of conveyance. So now security. That's why I told you a warranty is a security, because we're talking about a surety, and then we're talking about assurance. Assurance, surety. Take out the A and the S. Take out the RANC, and you got sure. You got the ANC. You got SUR, then ETY. That SUR is the root, is the connected root. So if it's saying that it's a security, it's in conveyancing, a deed, or instrument. Remember what we read in warranties down there. It says the same thing. All right, now let's go over to arrest. It said warranty arrest. Let's come up here. Let's get the arrest. Hope everybody doing good. I'm not looking at the chat right now. All right, so here's arrest. Okay, arrest. To deprive a person of his liberty by legal authority. And say by law. Did anybody know that's what arrest meant? To deprive a person of his liberty by legal authority. Title 18 USC subsection 241 and 242. More importantly, 242. Deprivation of rights under color of law. So they have it in this dictionary that anytime somebody is arrested, that means that they are being deprived of their liberty by legal authority, right? A legal authority. That's colorable law. It's another word of saying colorable. But you would have to been in that contract or in that agreement under the guise of legal authority competently. Meeting of the minds. You would have had to known that this is giving people access of it. So if you get a driver's license or any of these type of identifications that might connect you to that, this must be fully disclosed. Let's see what else it says. Let's go up top. We ain't gonna read everything. Okay, okay, so we got authority, custody of another for the purpose of holding or detaining him to answer a criminal charge or civil demand. Criminal charge or civil demand. Why is it a criminal charge and then a civil demand? What's the difference? See, this is where you got to jump around, all that stuff. Don't worry about it. I'll take care of that for you. That's too much work for you. I'll take care of all that. Not today, though. But we have all that. See, this is where things, when you want to get into the workshop, then we'll be able to make some of that stuff clear. All right, so it says physical seizure of person by arresting officer or submission to officer's authority. Wow. And control is necessary to constitute an arrest. Authority and control is necessary to constitute an arrest. Authority and control. Now, think of it from that perspective, not from the other perspective that you think that this is lawful, what's going on, but this is the whole gamut that is being done, that is taking place, that you under somebody's authority and control. Submission. It's by arresting officer or physical seizure by arresting officer or submission to officer's authority and control. All right. Now, there was one thing in the beginning, it said representative, right? When we did the warrant stuff, it said representative. Some sort, where is it at? 1832. Let's go to 1832. Warrant. Where did I see representative at? I seen it somewhere. Representative. Dang, where did I see that at? Flow right through it too. Said representative. Man. Anyway, I want to talk about representative anyway. There was a representative word in there, representative. But I'm not going to take too much time. That's just redundant. Now, I'm going to give you a couple Code of Federal Regulations, right? So here we go right here. So these are rules, right? Because, you know, you have attorneys, right? And they're supposed to be representing you. Supposed to be representing you. Let me get some water. They're supposed to be representing you, right? So these are rules of conduct and standards of responsibility for representatives. I want you to bookmark these things if you can, if you want to. All right. So it says purpose and scope. All attorneys or other persons acting on behalf of a party seeking a statutory right or benefit. So all attorneys, let me translate that for you. That means if you have an attorney, they only can deal with statutory and benefits. Statutory rights, not constitutional rights, statutory or benefit. Okay, remember that. It says, in their dealings with us, faithfully execute their duties as agent and fiduciaries of a party. All right. A representative must provide competent assistance to the claimant and recognize our authority to lawfully administer the process. The following provisions set forth certain affirmative duties and prohibited actions that will govern the relationship between the representative and us, including matters involving our administrative procedures and fee collections. All right, let's go to the next one. Who may be your representative? You may appoint as your representative in dealings with us any attorney in good standing who has the right to practice law before a court of a state. Okay. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go to, what is this? CFR. Let me bring this up real quick. CFR 404. Hold on, let me get this up real quick. .1705. Okay. Now, under these circumstances, this deals with a specific group, right? A department or agency. But these rules apply across the board. Okay. These things apply across the board because if I get into the whole thing of where the Part 404 comes from and how it derives, it's pretty much dealing with a different segment. It doesn't deal with criminal, type stuff or anything like that. It's dealing with the spelling out of what they're supposed to do. So I just want to give you guys that in the meantime. You see what I'm saying? So these are all the things that must happen, right? Is generally known to have a good character and reputation. It's capable of giving valuable help to you in connection with your claim. Right, here's the other one. This is 1705. This is 1505. All right, same thing. So this is 404-1740. This is 416-1505. Who may be your representative? And then you have right here, you have 416-1540. Rules of conduct and standards of responsibility for representatives. Keep this in your back pocket. Okay. Now, enough of that. What's going on, Derek? Who's on mute? I ain't on no mute. All right. What up, what up, big dog? What up, Rich? All right. Now you're in the building. Yep. So, Max V, what's going on? So, talking about I'm on mute. I'm on mute. Who's on mute? I ain't on mute. Oh, okay. Yeah, I ain't on mute. Talking about. All right. So anyway, now what we're gonna do is I just want to get that out so you guys can really kind of see the whole aspect of things when we're dealing with because a lot of our people can, when I talk about mortgages and things like that, or tax issues or things like that, people kind of get lost. But when I bring it from a criminal situation and I show you things you can relate to or catch on real fast, you're like, oh, okay, catch that. That's why I want to bring that to you. But now let's go ahead and get into these streams. Let's get into these streams. Where are we starting at? Right here. Yep. All right.
Easily. When they grow to bowl size, poke holes with a toothpick to drain extra water. They'll turn out big and round. Once tomatoes bear fruit, remove old and diseased bottom leaves. Nutrients flow upward, yielding plenty of clustered fruits. Trim all old leaves from radishes during their growth stage. Better ventilation and sunlight feed the roots, growing thick, straight radishes. Lay sweet potato vines flat when planting. One cutting will grow into a full cluster of tubers. When chili plants produce their first flower, cut off all lower side branches. You'll get endless peppers hanging like a red waterfall. Snap off side shoots under an eggplant's first flower, or bugs will eat up its leaves. Remove old bottom leaves and extra buds on cucumber vines. The main stem will produce far more cucumbers. Use these easy tips and enjoy a bumper harvest every time. Want more practical vegetable growing tips? Follow me for more useful garden hacks. Don't waste effort gardening. Watermelons crack easily. When they grow to bowl size.
Wow. That's deep. Huh. I'm going to leave these up. I got to be sure I save these links.
That cucumber has been coated in wax to look shinier on the shelf. Number 2, watermelon. Flip it over and look at the spot on the bottom. If it is yellow, it ripened on the vine the way it should. If the spot is white or barely there, that watermelon was picked too early and it will taste like nothing. Number 3, cherries. Drop them in a bowl of water with a splash of vinegar. Wait 5 minutes, and friends, what comes out will change how you eat forever. In Japan, we have a saying, the food that reaches your table should be as honest as the farmer who grew it. These tricks are how you hold the store accountable. Send this to someone before their next grocery trip. Comment yes if you want.
Aphids on tomatoes, peppers, cucumbers, and various other vegetables in the field. Anyway, never spray pesticides. I'll teach you a trick that solves the problem immediately without spending a penny and eliminates all aphids. Today, I'm sharing it for free. Before that, please use your lucky hands to like, follow, and save this post so you can find the recipe later. The recipe is to pour 50 grams of white vinegar, 50 grams of salt, and 50 grams of baking soda into 4 gallons of water. Stir well and spray it. Spray the solution on vegetables once every 7 days for 3 consecutive times. This will make vegetables grow greener and sturdier. It not only repels insects, but also increases yield without residues. I've shared this method with vegetable farmers. Go home and try it now. It's very simple. Follow me for more agricultural planting tips every day. There are aphids on tomatoes, peppers, cucumbers, and various
member of the Compton Cowboys. My name is Anthony Harris. My name is Anthony Harris, and I'm a member of the Compton Cowboys.
Turning my 87 acres of land into my dream herbalism school and retreat center. Now I realize a lot of you all are new here and haven't seen my journey of me buying and developing my land because I keep getting comments like this. So I decided to create a series showing exactly how I did it step by step. The first thing I wanted to do was clear land and start growing my food. So I paid somebody $4,000 to clear my land and he scammed me. So I ended up doing it myself. Men kept quoting me outrageous prices to build stuff. So I ended up enrolling in carpentry school and learned how to build things myself. Originally, my plan was to start a tea farm, but I realized that my land was a food forest and I had over 500 fruit trees and over 100 medicinal wild herbs. So instead, I decided to scrap that idea and turn my land into an herbalism school. So I decided to build a garden that could feed my family, grow medicinal herbs, and eventually provide fresh food for my retreat guests. And now I use the garden to host farming and herbalism classes. Make sure to come back for part 2. Welcome to day 1 of me turning my 87 acres.
That's right. That's right. I don't get it.
First thing we did when we moved down here was we sold the trees. Now, in the city, you guys have to pay to have your trees removed, right? Because you got one, you know, you may be on a quarter-acre lot, whatever, and you got one big pine and you want to get done. So when I moved down here, I was in that mind frame that we have to pay somebody to move all these trees, right? I didn't understand what I know now. Now, come down here, you got 10 acres, 15 acres full of long pine. You could sell those trees, pine trees, you could sell them. And we're talking about trees that look like that back there. You see those? That's a pine tree. They got white pine, they got all the different kinds, but you sell those, okay? So the best way I feel you should do it after information that I've learned is, number one, don't sell all your trees. Don't sell all your trees. Do something what they call as a plantation cut or thinning out. They just gonna call it thinning out. You're gonna like that better. The reason why is because the tree company is gonna get all your trees, they're gonna cut all your trees out, and they're gonna leave you with stumps. They're gonna give you a check. And you'll mess around and have to spend most of that check getting the stumps out of there. Or, you know, because you're going to have to rent a bulldozer, you're going to have to rent a stump grinder. You know, you got a lot of trees, you're going to have 100 stumps y'all got to get out of there, right? So, number one, I wouldn't advise you to sell all your trees. I would advise you to do what they call a plantation cut. And that's going to thin the trees out. They may do every other tree, right? And that's going to make the property look better. You ever put up on a property and it's nice and shady and you got trees everywhere? That's what you want, right? Unless you plan on doing pasture. Now, if you want to do pasture, yeah, you're going to have to go and clear it out 100%. You got to get them pine trees and them pine roots out. Now, when you sell your trees, they're going to offer you a check. Depending on the company you go through, You can sell your trees in more than one manner. You can sell your trees outright. They may offer you $50,000 for your trees, right? You can sell your trees by the truckload, or you can sell your trees by the ton. These are the information I didn't have. They just gave me a check, but I found out later about this. So to save you and to help you make more money, you need to inquire about that. Ask them about how you want to sell your trees. They're your trees. It's your timber now. So no one can tell you how they're going to pay you. They can tell you what they do at their company. And believe me, there's many more companies. Okay. Ask them, do y'all do it by the ton, by the load, or do y'all just do one check? You know, and if they say we do it by the ton or by the load, sell it by the ton. Sell it by the ton. That way you're getting poundage. You get what I'm saying? And you're going to make more money. All right. So we're going to stop it right there. The next video, we're going to talk about grants that I got to help me get that greenhouse back there. All right. All right. This is Larry, man. Peace.
This guy's good. This guy is good. I listen to his stuff. He's serious. Serious about what he do. He good. He's good. What's his name? Yeah. I am Larry B. Jr. Larry B. Jr. I am Larry B. Jr. He got a lot of good information. I mean, money. He be talking money with that stuff. Big time. He's serious about his shit.
People, my people, what's going on? This
is another good one right here. Them two brothers, he knows his stuff too. And he got character.
I'm talking to you all about what plants can reproduce themselves, helping you save money. Chop, prop, and drop it. Hey. For example, this is a longevity spinach plant right here. Chop the stem of it off, drop it in some water. So that's just one example, people. There's many plants that you can chop it and put it right in some water, put it right in the soil, and it's going to recreate itself. Now, number one on this little list of mine is tomatoes, people. You see how crowded these tomatoes can get because they grow so bushy and tall? Them tomatoes get to coming out. You see how this stem is popping up right in between the two, the main stem, a shoot, and then boom. Let me get that up off you. Then you want to take this piece right here, put it right in some water, or what I prefer.
He said, let me get that up off you.
Put it right in the soil. It's going to grow your whole nother tomato plant, people. Remember to plant the tomato deep, water it in. I use that same method with this tomato plant right here, and you see we already got tomatoes going. Now, another one of many plants that reproduce themselves is these here strawberries, people. You see that? We call this a runner, not a track star. When you see them roots already growing out, because it's real humid out here, we're going to take this runner right here, and we're going to put that in some soil, and you got you a whole new strawberry plant, people. You want to chop it, drop it, and there it is, people. A whole new strawberry plant right there. Just a few quick tips before we get to this last one. Always clean your blade before you go chop the next plant because you don't want to accidentally spread diseases. Now, doing this on a cool or overcast day like we had today is probably the best time to do it, or just do it out of direct sun so your little plant ain't got to fight the sun while trying to get new roots, create its foundation and its structure. And if you want more gardening tips like this and you want to be able to have it for a lifetime and teach everybody behind you, then you can go download my ebook, link in the bio, or go to AFIAFarmsATL.com, shop tab, get the new ebook out. Small plot, big pot, you won't regret it. Now, people, and the last thing I'm gonna show you today is a pepper plant, people. Now I'm gonna give you a little education on this one right here. Everywhere you see this pepper plant growing out new stems, those are what you call nodes. So when you propagate your plant, you want to propagate it to where you'll have enough of a node to go under the ground. That's where new roots will be created at. Making sure you cut under the node is the most important thing that you don't want to forget, people. Your nodes grow the roots, people. After I chop it at the node, you want to remove them stems. Some people also take this time to dip the stem in some root hormone. You don't have to, but if you want to, it's a plus. And you can put it right in some soil, people. Make sure the nodes are covered up, water it in, and you just made you a new plant, people. Save some money. All right, people, our season is here, and you know we in this together. So if you want to produce yourself some new plants, some more plants for free, do what I just told you to do. Pop and drop it. My people, what's going on?
All right, we're taking a turn here. This is where I'm gonna get into my commenting after this one. This is a real short one. This is from copper colored red Indian goddess. She posted that, so grab that from her. Let's see here.
Civil War was really fought over?
States' rights.
So what do you think the Civil War was really fought over?
States' rights.
You think so? Because it was another reason why they said because slavery was expanded out west and they didn't want to do that.
They say that, but slavery was already over there.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it was.
It was already over there. They like the Spanish, the Russians, they were already over there. So
Chinese
as well. Yep.
Yeah, they was building the railroads.
Exactly.
And we were over there too. I mean, look, Juneteenth. You know?
Yes.
That shit, Juneteenth.
Juneteenth.
I didn't mean to do that. Need to leave them up.
Hey, it sounds impossible, but according to one
Hold on.
what if 9,000 foot trees once covered the earth, but something cut them down and their remains are the mountains we see today? It sounds impossible, but according to one theory, some of the world's most unusual mountains aren't mountains at all. They're ancient tree stumps. Supporters point to places like Devil's Tower, with its massive column-like formations and strangely flat top. From above, they argue it looks almost like the stump of an enormous tree, and similar formations can be found around the world. But here's where the theory gets even stranger. We already know that wood can become petrified, slowly turning to stone while preserving its original structure. So what if this happened on a scale we've never imagined? Ancient cultures around the world also told stories of enormous world trees, stretching from the earth into the heavens, trees like Yggdrasil in Norse mythology. What if these stories weren't entirely mythology? What if Earth once looked completely different, covered by trees thousands of feet tall? And if these mountains really are their petrified remains, it leaves us with an even bigger question. What happened to the giant trees? And what could possibly have been powerful enough to cut them all down?
Hold on a second. I just looked at that. You said, isn't it? You said Big Dog know how to do that? All right. I'm gonna holler at Big Dog. The big dog know how to do that. Okay, that's what's up. I know he does the farming. He never gets in detail what he does online, but all right, for sure. And you said that Chinese didn't build the railroads? Okay. And you said didn't know that. Didn't know what? And then you business, what you say. Meanwhile, we have this Israel-U.S. military integration passed by Congress. There you go. Now you're bringing something new to the table. Oh, I mean about getting greenhouses? Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Yeah, them two brothers, yeah, they be on their business. Like I said, now it's Big Dog doing those things. Shout out to Big Dog. I'm about to be doing it. I ain't got nothing better to do. But yeah. What passed? Oh, let me get out y'all conversation. Y'all ain't talking to me, huh? Y'all ain't talking to me. Let me stay out of y'all conversation.
What if 9,000?
Now, this video is interesting because, when you actually look at some of these buildings, these mountains, some of these places, especially when you go to Arizona. Yeah. Like when you get off the plane and you at that airport in Arizona, and you just see empty areas, what they consider to be kind of desert. You see those big, like half of what you consider to be rock mountains. Like, what are they? Like, it's crazy how they're set up. They look like rock mountains, and then some of them look like cut trees. You guys remember Jack and the Beanstalk, right? And right? Y'all remember Jack and the Beanstalk? Jack and the Beanstalk. And then they came out with that cartoon. Jack the Giant Slayer. You guys need to watch that. Watch that cartoon. It was interesting. I just happened to watch it because I said, well, Jack and the Beanstalk was something we all grew up with. Well, I don't say we all, but I grew up reading that book, and they used to tell stories about Jack and the Beanstalk. And that was kind of interesting how they actually that beanstalk, them trees was cut down. How they was explaining it, them trees was cut down to keep the giants from coming back down to this other side of the earth, I would say. And everything what the beans was doing, they called them magic beans or whatever. But what the beans was doing, they was growing trees all the way up into the clouds, where there was a whole nother civilization up there it was actually showing it to be cut down, so that way they wouldn't have a opportunity to come down them trees and then be able to terrorize, I guess, the shorter people. But at the end of that cartoon, it's interesting. Very interesting. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to spoil the movie. It was interesting how they actually put it together. They took it somewhere like where I didn't even expect it to go. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. All right, we're taking a turn.
Brought me out today is the introduction of the preservation of
Anybody know
what brought me out today is the introduction of the Preservation of Our Constitution Act of 2026 to ensure that only American laws will be used in American courts. This bill is the federal version of the state bill that we worked on the national level, called American Laws for American Courts, that you saw me out there. I worked with my colleague Frank Gaffney. You're going to interview him later on the passage of this bill across the United States, because with the rise of migrants and immigrants to our great nation, they are bringing with them laws that are not compatible with the U.S. Constitution. They did a study, the Center for Security Policy, a few years ago, and found out that Sharia law was used in 22 states and 143 cases. In the United States, most people think, oh, this is a European problem, and we obviously are seeing what Europe is dealing with right now. You have, I think I heard, over 180 parallel Sharia courts operating to British courts inside England. We're seeing the same thing happen in Germany. We're seeing the same thing happen in France, in many countries in Europe, where the Muslims who immigrated to Europe are trying to basically introduce their law and make it the law of the land. They do not want to abide by British law. So what this bill says, and I couldn't find a better time to introduce this bill, the Preservation of Our Constitution Act of 2026, the week of 4th of July, celebrating our 250th birthday. The United States Constitution is the document, is the bedrock of the success of our nation. We have become the greatest nation on the face of the planet because of our Constitution and the wisdom that our founding fathers saw in giving us the Constitution. And this is why people came from all over the world to the United States, seeking freedom, seeking protection. They escaped persecution. That's why they ended up in the United States. And so we want to make sure that no other law that is not compatible with the U.S. Constitution will be allowed to be used in any American courtroom. And the reason we did not say Islamic law, we just said the Preservation of the Constitution Act of 2026, is because if you are a British company, or if you are an Australian company or a French company doing business with an American company, and you get into litigation and the company says, well, we want to use French law or we want to use British law, that's fine because that is compatible with the US Constitution. You can do that. But we do not want laws in our country that render a woman's value half of that of a man, which is what Sharia court does. We do not want laws in our country that takes a woman's children away from her and gives them to the father. It doesn't matter how underage they are, because he's the father and she's worthless. We do not want any man in this country beating their wives, abusing their wives, torturing their wives, and then when their wives seek protection, they go to a judge and the judge says, well, because the husband says, well, I'm an Afghani, I want to be tried under Afghani law or under Somali law or under Bangladeshi law. They cannot do that because what's been happening is, in these domestic cases in particular, women have been sent back to their abusers to go into some Sharia court that says you've got to listen to your husband because he is your head, he is your boss, basically he owns you. We do not want these laws in the United States. We want to make sure that whoever comes to our country, they are welcome here as long as they abide by our Constitution. They come here legally, doing it the right way. They abide by our Constitution. The Constitution is the highest law in the land. And we will fight tooth and nail to make sure it will always remain the highest law and the only law in the United States. And that's why I'm here. Well, what brought me out today is
Okay. Now, reaction time is who is we? Our. Look, listen. She has raised her right hand. Remember the definition of what an American is. Also, she said United States. So she knows that she's a United States citizen. That's all she is. She's not an American. Right? So can't be mad at that. Now, I want you people to listen what she is saying, take out the emotions, bring in common sense. Now listen carefully what she's saying. American, 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 American. That's what she's saying. The other thing she said was 22 states was using Sharia law. Now you see why a lot of these foreigners, these immigrants, was getting off by killing people. These people was doing things to these young women. They was coming up missing and all this stuff, right? You get that, right? That these states, these 22 states, mostly probably Democratic, most of these states that was bringing in under this, the DACA thing, the Dreamers and all that, that they was operating, they was over here. And she put it right on the table that these people were foreign nationals brought over here, fully funded, fully taken care of and protected, and operating under the laws that they come from. That's how they was living. You see what I'm saying? That is the most important thing that these people were coming over here doing. It was operating from that perspective. Those are the most important things. Whether she's saying we and ours and all that stuff. Well, under the United States, as a United States citizen or United States national, what you are, you pledge allegiance. You pledge allegiance to the United States of America and for the republic and to the republic for which it stands. Now, at the same time, she said the Constitution is the supreme law of the land. Now, we know that also what is the supreme law of the land is treaties. So we're talking American, we're talking American. Do not mix in and combine American and United States together. That is where things get messed up. Because at this point in time, we're talking about status here. If we're going to deal with status and understanding what status is and knowing who we are, then we really need to understand how to separate the two. Right? I'm pretty sure you've heard of that before. American isness, separate the two. You know, you got to separate the two. Let them be who they are. She also said in there is that this is why people came over here for protection. They came over here for protection to get away from that. Right? So they came over here to be like y'all sisters, to roll your eyes, roll your neck, talk shit, talk crazy, and we'd be like, all right, man, go on about yourself. You gonna talk crazy to me? I gotta sit here and listen to you for the next 30 minutes, and I can't say, no, I gotta get it out. I gotta talk. You're gonna hear me. Get out my kitchen. Get out my kitchen. See what I'm saying? They want to come over here and enjoy the fruits and the liberties that y'all got. There's no other place that allows it. You know what I'm saying? So they had to come over here for protection. So, you know what I'm saying? High five to y'all, sisters. You know what I'm saying? They want to be able to roll their eyes, roll their neck, talk shit, and get away with it. How about that? You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, we ain't gonna do nothing. We gonna be like, yeah, whatever. Shit, we shut our ears off anyway. We don't be listening to y'all half the time. You know what I'm saying? We only listen to y'all when y'all say, are you listening to me? Yeah, listening. Attentive. So just take that as a badge of honor. You know what I'm saying? She want to come over here and be like y'all. You know what I'm saying? They get fake booties and, you know, and breasts and all that stuff. They like to dress like y'all. They want to know how to do the little new dances. They want to get one of y'all brothers. You know what I'm saying? That's what they like. See? Wear it as a badge of honor. And the first thing they're going to go do is get one of y'all to be a friend. That's what they're going to do. Can you teach me how to be you? That's what they're going to do, sisters. You know, don't feel so angry about it. You know, be like big mama, big sis. Hey, all right, cool. Now y'all getting that free money. Holla at me. Cool. You know what I'm saying? Go on, man. They over here. Deal with it. I played that just for the purpose of seeing how people will react to what she was saying. And obviously, Isness fell into the trap. Who's we? Come on now. She want to be like that. You know, it's cool. Don't be mad. You know what I'm saying? Take it as a badge of honor. Now, what I'm going to do to piss you off even more, I'm going to play it again. Because there were certain things that you needed to hear that was very, very important. I'm not working hard today. I'm just doing reactions.
Is the introduction of the Preservation of Our Constitution Act of 2026.
All right. So this is the Preservation Act 2026, HR 9567. So here's this. I already know what you're doing. You already looked it up. You're about to examine the whole thing, and you're going to dissect it, and you're going to pretty much beat it up and find something wrong with it. I already know what you're going to do. So now your business, I know you pretty much going to do that too. Because y'all want to find something wrong with it. We know. This, if they're saying no Sharia, that means Sharia law has been in America. See, that's what I was talking about, that communist. See, this is why I do what I do. This communist stuff is always been here. That's why y'all need to read Pawns in the Game. Fourth Reich of the Rich. You have to read that. People like for people to read to learn, Elders of Zion. Nah. Read those books. Don't worry about the other books. You don't care about all that. All that is hocus pocus. Skiggity skank. It ain't nothing but me. That nigga E40. But I'm just saying. We need practical things we need to read. And this man, I'm very practical. I'm concrete. I don't want to hear about floating and possibilities and all that type of stuff. Nah, I don't want to deal with that because I know I got infinite abilities. It's unlimited. I know about that. But if I got that, I need to see something that I can utilize that I can actually touch. You know what I'm saying? The only thing outside, touch. It's like it's a beautiful woman. You want to be able to reach out and touch a beautiful woman. I mean, that's the only thing outside of concrete information that I want to touch. Should be nothing else. Well, basketball, baseball, football, but these bones won't allow it anymore. So I need something that I can feed my brain now. I need something that I can feed my brain. I need something to keep my competitive juices going. So, see what she's saying. Now, the other thing I want everybody to do, just as it go on, let's see if you can find this anywhere today or anything that's already been posted on that in mainstream sections. Have they been talking about this bill that they have put forward? And then watch tomorrow, after I'm done doing this, how much they talk about it. All right? Check and see if I'm tripping. I don't know if I'm tripping or what, but check it out.
To ensure that only American laws will be used in American courts.
All right. You would not have to put this in order unless they're using other laws. So Sharia law is one thing, but Sharia law is the target. Sharia law is the target, but we're talking about American law. Across the board, American law, not United States codes and statutes, American law. Read between the lines. Get her out your mind and listen to the voice and listen to what she's saying. Worry about what she's looking like. Remember, I told you, they are our servants. They labor for us. They are our employees. So let's go.
This bill is the federal version of the state bill that we worked on the national level called American Laws for American Courts.
Okay, so American law for American courts. American law for American courts. Got that? Business? Business? Y'all got that? Because we're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about this on Friday. What's today? Thursday. Remember Friday, I got the open panel. We're doing straight open panel on Fridays now. Friday's locked in. So we got to talk about this. It's the first time I'm hearing about it.
That you saw me out there. I worked with my colleague, Frank Gaffney. You're going to interview him later on the passage of this bill.
Slow down. She is just too jittery, excited. Slow down. Trying to keep up with you.
across the United States, because with the rise of migrants and immigrants to our great nation,
Migrants, immigrants in our great nation.
they are bringing with them.
Who is she? Let me blow this up. What she look like? Okay, she looks like she is probably some form of Central South American.
Laws that are not compatible with the U.S. Constitution. They did a.
Now, what I've been saying, writ of prohibition. Laws that are not compatible with the Constitution. That's what I've been saying. Laws that are not compatible with the Constitution. Colorable laws that intersect or in conflict with the Constitution. This is big. It's big. Big.
Study the Center for Security Policy a few years ago and found out that.
Slow down. What did you just say?
That Sharia law was used in 22 states and 143 cases.
Now, what she does is after this, she get to talk about men beating on women and all that stuff. That's for the mainstream. They always run to this to hide what this is really about. This is why I'm taking my time with this. But what she already said is what she said. She's giving an example. That is one example. And she's running with the, with the whole narrative and the emotions and gaslighting and all that type of shit. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. So just remember what was already said. But she's going to get into all this stuff. But it was used in 22 courts in over 130 cases, Sharia law. Now you understand why a lot of these people been getting off for the things that they have been doing. They have been utilizing Sharia law. And I don't know if people was demanding Sharia law, but it seemed like some of these courts are operating under Sharia law. And communism, this is eminent domain and all the things they taking people's property and pulling people over. Man, let me tell you something. It's been here.
In the United States, most people think, oh, this is a European problem, and we obviously are seeing what Europe is dealing with right now. You have, I think I heard over 180 parallel Sharia courts operating to British.
Well, shit, I don't care nothing about them. I don't care nothing about them. You know why? It's because they are the reason why all those people are over here. They were sneaking them through Canada and through these islands and all this stuff, and they was boating over here. Walking through these little portals and stuff like that. Unchecked. So I don't give a damn about Europe. They are the reason. Them and Canada. They're the reason that we've been having all these issues. See, and this is why you had all them NGOs and all these different islands over here. Haiti, Cuba. And that's why Cuba and all these other islands and shit is like desolate. They just look the way they look. Because they draining all the resources in order to fund their own little projects. Whatever them projects might be.
Courts inside England. We're seeing the same thing happen in Germany. We're seeing the same thing happen in France, in many countries in Europe, where the
you see how she's going mainstream now? In France and other people in Europe. Yeah. That's NATO. You worry about NATO. We don't care because you actually had them running through Africa too. I know a lot of people say fuck Africa, but not me. Because they got resources. I mean, the whole thing back in the day with the 54 states, the African Union, was for them to do business with us. Because guess what? We got the same hue. This is why a lot of people was popped. This is the same thing that happened with the dude in Libya. Got to understand business, people. Business. NATO was that problem. Europe was that problem. And they was actually going on and teaming up with Iran and all these Sharia law places. See what I'm saying? But she's running around here. You know what they won't address? Yes. The only thing we got up there is American law right there. So that's enough for me because I know how to put two and two together. You see what I'm saying? And separate the two at the same time. Read between the lines, people. Key words. Very important.
Muslims who immigrated to Europe are trying to basically introduce their law and make it the law of the land. They do not want to abide by British law. So what this bill says, and I couldn't find a better time to introduce this bill, the Preservation of Our Constitution Act of 2026, the week of 4th.
Why does the United States have to put an act together every time to get something done? Why? Why does it have to be the Preservation Act? Why does it have to be an act? Always having to be an act. You know why? Because, this is my own take on it, is because the United States at this point in time is not in its constitutional form. It is actually something that is quasi at best. It's operating under a corporate fiction. So they got to throw these acts in here so that way they can be acted upon later. So they're throwing it in there to preserve because they know that they have committed treason 10 times over. They know they have violated every aspect of American law, American jurisprudence, their fiduciary duties, their oath, treaties, agreements, internationally, nationally, and local, across the board, 10 times over. They know they've already done that. So even though these acts are being put in, are they going to be executed? Because they're supposed to be operating under constitutional law way back in 2017, 18, and 19, before the pandemic hit. This is why they shut down on the courts. I don't know what was going on in those other states, but in most places in California, you couldn't walk into a building, any what you consider to be a public facility, a public building, you could not walk in there. Only thing you could do is walk in the front part, especially when dealing with the courts. You know what I'm saying? The county recorder's office was open, but even then you had to stand in a long line. You had to go one or two at a time, and you had to make sure you had a mask on. See what I'm saying? So let's continue.
4th of July, celebrating our 250th birthday. The United States Constitution is the document, is the bedrock of the success of our nation. We have become the greatest nation on the face of the planet because of our Constitution and the wisdom that our founding fathers saw in giving us the Constitution. And this is why people came from all over the world to the United States, seeking freedom, seeking protection. They escaped persecution. That's why they ended up in the United States.
Now, she said they escaped persecution. Why? Why did they escape persecution? Same reason why you had 1492. What did the Moors and the Sephardims escape? Persecution. Because there was a new guard that was coming in. That new guard was Sharia law. Sharia law has been around for a minute. In all these other places, this thing was swarming everywhere. And everybody was calling America to help them fight their battles. This is why you had Laotians coming in here. You had the splitting of Korea, North and South Korea. All the South Koreans over here, North Korean state. You had South Vietnamese, North Vietnamese, the South Vietnamese came over here. You know what I'm saying? Chinese, Japanese, all these groups that was coming over here. These is groups that was coming over here from a specific ideology. See, and these groups had already had agreements with the United States of America, and they were being ran out by the old oligarchy or the new oligarchy of these so-called communistic ideology of people, where they were taken out and they wanted a small group to be able to control. That's still a form of mobocracy. What was going on, but we don't know who were the sellouts and who was not. The ones that stayed or the ones that left. And America was giving asylum to all these groups. They've been coming over here. I just saw a video on General Patton. I ain't playing that. This is why I don't play a lot of stuff that None of Your Business show sends me, because she's very extreme in her approach. So some of this stuff get a lot of attention. I don't do that. I like the, I'm a spring baby. It don't need to be too hot, don't need to be too cold. I want it just right. It's got to be just right. So a lot of these people, when she's talking about persecution, how are you facing persecution? See, because a lot of these people that came over here come from old hegemony. So you get this another group of people that's coming in, but the same group of people, it's like a circle where a lot of these people was put in place to take over. And then you bring the brightest of minds, what they always said, what they said about the West African slave trade, they brought the best and they left the rest. But that transatlantic slave trade, right? That transatlantic slave trade, right? Trans, or they call it the tri, right? The tri, three, coming from three different areas, three different oceans. So there's a lot of people that was coming over, and they all coming over here. And when they come over here to work and pledge allegiance. These and after that was done, these same people that was leaving and the ones that was taking over end up setting up shop in these same certain areas, taking over all the resources until it came to a head here in America. Because California was funding everything that was going on with the Chinese Communist Party. We don't know if it was the People's Republic, but we know it's the Chinese Communist Party, and we know a lot of these communist parties are everywhere in America. And all of them are in the biggest metropolis areas. And all those areas are what? Democrat. But also you have Republicans within that. And I was actually I sent a message back to somebody. I was like, look, let me see. The original Democrats are Republicans now. I don't know if anybody knows that. Abraham Lincoln was a Democrat. Those Democrats are now Republicans. The Democrats that you have today were Dixiecrats. You see what I'm saying? There were no Republicans. They were Federalists. They had all different things, but nevertheless. The ideology is the most important thing. Outside of anything else, the ideology is the most important thing. But these people, I spent a lot of time just on this part, but this is the most important part because immigration is the problem. To the United States of America, they say that they are a nation of immigrants. They are a nation of immigrants. That means every single entity, individual, or whatever that comes within the United States that is subjected themselves and pledge allegiance to the United States is an immigrant. What does that mean? Because a lot of people that look like us, even in the American Indian little sphere or the Pan-Africans or whatever, call themselves United States citizens. So if you are United States citizens, you are an immigrant. Anybody and everybody that calls themselves a United States citizen, to them, you are an immigrant. You are foreign. Why? You ever asked it? Well, ask me the question. Why? You know why? Because the United States is foreign. It operates specifically through what? Commerce, right? Article 1, you got the Commerce Clause. Commerce Clause and Admiralty. Admiralty, maritime, common law. Within the United States, later on became federal territory. So if it's under those territories, if you're dealing with a territory or occupation, that doesn't deal with the land, that doesn't deal with anything immovable. It's all movable, if that makes sense. Movable versus immovable. The only people that can talk about anything immovable is what you would call an American by definition. Everybody else is movable. That's why she started off with immigrants, migrants, people just moving around. Nothing stays in one place. You know why? Because this is Indian country, which is immovable. Got it? Somewhat. All right, somewhat. Let's go.
And so we want to make sure that no other law that is not compatible with the U.S. Constitution will be allowed to be used in any American courtroom. And
now, this was supposed to get done in 2020. Let me see. Shutdowns. 2020. It was supposed to get done in 2021. This is why, well, the conspiracy theorists say that this is why Trump couldn't get in right away, because they needed other things to get done. You see what I'm saying? This is what the shutdowns was all about. The shutdowns was working at a level that was ridiculous. This is where they was really going at each other. Let me tell you something. I remember when I rode into LA, it was big military trucks on those freeways, on the streets. There was people out there suited and booted, locked and loaded on the streets. This was the main thing, because if it went through and we wouldn't have had that break in between, it'd have been a wrap. But they did that. But myself, I look at it as, I think I look at it as more of a good thing, because more people need to wake up to what was actually going on. More people needed to wake up. But even then, we still have this issue. That's what I'm saying. People think this thing can happen in 8 years, 12 years. Man, this shit taking a long time. I mean, you got a matriculation of people, you know. But
the reason we did not say Islamic law, we just said the preservation of the Constitution Act of 2026, is because if you are a British company, or if you are an Australian company or a French company doing business with an American company, and you get into litigation and the company says, well, we want to use French law or we're going to use British law, that's fine, because that is compatible with the U.S. Constitution. You can do that. But we do not want laws in our country that render a woman's value half of that of a man, which is what Sharia court does. We do not want laws in our country that takes a woman's children away from her and gives them to the father. It doesn't matter how underage they are, because he's the father and she's worthless. We do not want any man in this country beating their wife.
All right. See, she got into all that. But yeah, there we go. Let's get to the next one.
Student loans can now be discharged and erased. That's true, and it's happening right now under federal law. I'm Anthony J. Pirano, and I'm a federal court attorney. In 60 seconds, I'm going to explain why a 25-year student loan payment plan does not have to be in your future. First, under the new DOJ process, you file a petition with the court. That's a simple legal vehicle. It opens the door to review. As part of the process, there's a Department of Justice review form that you complete. Most borrowers have never heard of it, but it exists and it's streamlined. On the form, you're going to list your real life expense numbers, your income, rent, food, family costs, and you're going to demonstrate financial hardship. Now, financial hardship means that you cannot pay your basic living expenses and make your student loan payments at the same time. And in today's economy, for many borrowers, it's not hard to prove. The government attorneys will then review the information as listed on the form. They review it against their guidelines. What's changed now is that the process has been streamlined. No longer do you have to wait for hearings, discovery, depositions. In most cases, the review can be handled within a few months. And this is the part that many people miss when thinking about this alternative. If you would take 25 years to pay off your student loan, and the balance keeps growing through interest and principal, waiting it out may not be a good plan. It may lock you into a static payment plan over the months, but because of the interest after 25 years, you may owe more than your original balance, double, triple, quadruple. And there will be an amount forgiven, but that would become taxable, and that may be a great hardship to you in later years. So that's why planning now matters. While this legal option still exists, I break it down step by step in my student loan navigation.
Now, at this point in time, everybody that's listening should say, you know what? Sounds good, cool, but I've pretty much been shown that the United States guarantees all debts, public and private. Number two, how is the United States Department of Education loaning me anything when they are a sub-department of the United States? Hence, United States Department of Education. What money are they lending? Forgive what? You see? Anybody looked at, you got a student loan, you look at it, when you look at the contract that you sign, it's called a master promissory note. You see? It's a master promissory note. See, see, people like this. You want to go through this. You want to talk about financial hardship and this, that, and the other. I don't have no money. My income is low. Income this, income that, individual tax. Instead of saying, you know what, you have consumer rights. You know what I'm saying? Nah, they didn't loan you any money. You actually extended the credit in order to get the things for your own personal and family use, not to make a profit. So I'm not taxable. Really, I should be getting the money and I should be getting something back on the back end, right? Because you saying you loaned it. And then I issued that loan and I utilized it for what? My personal or family use. My personal use was getting that education, going to school, something that could benefit me in the long term to get a career, make some money, have a family, get married, live out my constitutional, you know what I'm saying? Life pursuits of happiness. But he's talking about, look at it. Looks miserable. Looks like he don't want to be up there. He's like, you know, he's just dragging along, selling something, probably because he's going to be out of business pretty soon. You know, hey, it's not our fault, buddy. All you had to do is grow a spine and do your job. See what I'm saying? Not be a coward. And then you wouldn't be sounding like this.
Strategy guide. I also offer consultations, one-on-one, in-depth, to determine whether this legal path would be good for you. So if you want to get in contact with me, just click the link in my profile, book a one-on-one in-depth session with me, and stay with me.
See what I'm saying? Because he's reading. Probably AI, ChatGPT. You know these people use ChatGPT, right? They try to stop you from coming in and doing your thing in court with multiple people, but they come in with 3 and 4 attorneys. Interesting, huh?
Threat to public safety.
He destroyed 3 flock cameras.
Oh, guy in an American flag shirt. He must be a dangerous radical. Better kill that guy. There are hundreds of similar videos of people destroying license plate readers. There are how-to videos on how to disable them with high-powered lasers you can buy on Amazon, which apparently fry their circuits. Endorsing that, of course. And if the guy in the American flag shirt and the sombrero is any measure of who's doing it, and judging by the videos we saw, he definitely is. It's not drug-addicted kids. It's sober, decent, patriotic Americans who believe the promises of their country. Flock was not part of the country they signed up for. No one asked their permission to steal their images and to spy on their conversations. They don't.
See what I'm saying? Okay, so Tucker Carlson. The one key thing he said in there is that promises. You remember what this lady said? Right here. But we have this right here. Everywhere. Drive down the street at a light. You'll see a PD sign up there with things flashing and cameras rolling. And they're taking pictures, running things all the way through. See what I'm saying? Like, where are we at with this? Like, all those cameras should be taken off. But these are them people doing that. These are them people. But they always got us on the cameras. They always got us on TV with our mugshots and everything. But these people are doing that and they ain't talking about it. Ain't mentioning it.
I think it makes them safer. They understand that it's to strip them of their most basic humanity, which it is.
You have plans to continue to take down these flock cameras.
Absolutely. They are a clear and present threat to public safety.
He destroyed 3 flock cameras.
Oh, guy in an American flag.
All right. Ain't got too much to say about that one. Hold on real quick. Let's go to this one. Stay with Tucker. I don't know if this is the same one. Let's see.
The license plate readers and the facial recognition software, which are integrated, probably not to keep you safe. The promise is that if you give up your privacy, your right to kind of walk around without having your face analyzed and sent to headquarters somewhere in this or another country, you would in exchange get what? Safety. The problem is it hasn't worked that way. Harris County, Texas has over 3,000 license plate readers. You would think it would be the safest place in the United States, but weirdly, Harris County, Texas had over 500 murders in 2025. How is it that we increased the surveillance past what 1984 describes, and we still have 500 murders in one U.S. county? So the point is, license plate readers are safe and effective, and if you don't believe that, you're obviously anti-science. Shut up, science denier. What are you, for the drug cartels? Oh no, that would be the government. They're in business with the drug cartels. The point of
this slogan, don't mess with Texas. I'm chewing on some organic, crispy coconut rolls. These things is on fire. These things is good. Trying to stay away from my chocolate chip cookies. So, just that don't mess with Texas. People deliver that message as if Texas is one of those one things, but that don't mess with Texas sign, that come from black people, that come from white people. Like we handle our business here. You see what I'm saying? These things. All right, let's go here. I thought this was cool. It's the real Dana.
What's wrong with being African?
Ain't nothing wrong with being African. It's just that I'm not African. I was born in America.
So your bloodline, are you black?
Yeah, I'm black.
Black what? You just black?
I'm a black man, nigga. Black what? Black man, nigga.
Black man, nigga.
What you talking about? I'm black. It's black niggas all over the world. Do that mean they African? It's black niggas and it's black Cubans. It's black niggas everywhere. That don't mean that they African because you black. Black don't mean African.
No, I didn't mean to say that, but we're from Africa, bro. It's the heart of a black man. That's where we from.
You are not from Africa, bro. Nobody in Africa looks like you. Nowhere. Come on, man.
Land of the black man.
I'm not African. If you want to be African, that's on you.
All right.
And shout out to my Africans. I'm not African. I'm my mother from Atlantic City.
That part. Dana laugh on that one.
I don't know what else to tell you, bro.
What's wrong with?
He said, I don't know what else to tell you, bro. Man. You see how dumb he sound? Like, do at the top sound real dumb. You know we're from Africa, right? You know we're from Africa, right? What you talk about, man? I don't know nothing about Africa. You don't even know they be pissing off the Africans. Hey, goddamn, they want to take Africa too? Can we have something for ourselves? Keep y'all asses in America. We do not want you over here. Come over here and watch what we do to you. Gonna rob you and chop you up and eat you. We'll feed you to our lions. Hey, people. Come on, man. Ain't nothing African about that. This thing crazy. You cannot have no tattoos on your neck in Africa. Look at them tattoos. Can't. It's impossible. You will die. You know what I'm saying? These guys don't get it. All right. Last one.
Here we go, man. Y'all know what time it is, right? Okay, so let's get it. Okay, so you see the logo? You see the logo? Okay, so a couple of days ago, I made a video. And in the video, I told the copper color people, the real indigenous one, or the so-called black people, to look at their birth certificate and see if their birth certificate says blacks, Negroes, African-American, colored, or nothing, right? And if your birth certificate carries any one of those things I just called off, then the United States government committed fraud against you. That's called misrepresentation of your identity, or of your true identity, because we are the indigenous people, right? So they did that so they can govern you, right? They did that so they can govern you, which is fraud. You have a lawsuit against them for doing that. Now, I want you to listen to me, because you have to go on Google or go online and look up this document. It's called UNDRIP, UNDRIP. Let me spell it again. UNDRIP, right? Okay, it means United Nations Declarations Rights of Indigenous People.
None of your business. I'll respond to the ones I don't respond to, because I'm looking through them. But the ones I don't respond to, those are the ones I don't want. Usually I'll send like a fire or something like that, but I'll let you know. Because all the information is good. I'm not saying I don't want it. I'm just saying, let me take that back. Not that I don't want it, but I'm not going to show it. It's just too extreme. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, some of these people, you know, they say all these things. It's all conspiracy theory. You know what I'm saying? Outside of me playing that music, I've been doing a pretty good job of, you know what I'm saying, staying above level with this and not getting a lot of attention. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I'll let you know which ones. But most of the time, if I don't respond to it, I'm like, I'm not going to play that one. But I like it. For me, it's good information and stuff that we could talk about in different pockets. But, yeah, you know what I'm saying? But I would say you betting about 500 on it. You about 50% from the field. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, that's about it. All right.
Right? That's what that word means. Pull up that document. Go to Article 8, 9, and 10 in that document, right? So this document is real.
Okay. About to go to UNDRIP. Actually, I think I got it. Hold on. Hold on. Let me pull it up. There you go. There you go. All right, so you said 8, 9, and 10? Yeah. Eight, 9, and 10. All right. There we go. Boom, boom. All right. So now let's go back and let's listen to them.
Important, and I'm gonna tell you why, because a lot of y'all still voting and doing dumb shit, right? Okay, so I don't care who it is, Barack Obama, Jasmine Crockett, Kamala Harris, Democrats, Republicans, House, I don't give a fuck who it is. You got to stop voting on this land, because you're giving up your freedom and your rights to fall under a government or so-called government that don't give a fuck about you. If you don't believe me, right, the United States is a foreign corporation from Great Britain. In 1848,
Man, he can't help himself. He gonna curse. So just let him go. He doing his thing. You know what I mean? That's just coming out. That's how you know how to express himself. So don't hold him against him. The First Amendment rights here.
June 6, 1848, the Supreme Court of the United States ruled that the United States can never own this land because this land belongs to the House. I don't give a fuck who it is. You got to stop voting on this land because you're giving up your freedom and your rights to fall under a government or so-called government that don't give a fuck about you. If you don't believe me, right, the United States is a foreign corporation from Great Britain. In 1848, in June 6, 1848, the Supreme Court of the United States ruled that the United States can never own this land because this land belongs to the mound builders.
All right, hold on. June 1840. What? Hold on. Where you go?
Okay, North America belonged to the mound builders, aka Turtle Island. Ruled that the United States can never own this land. In 1848, in June 6, 18.
Okay, June 6, 1848. June 6, 1848. Supreme Court case. 1848 saying United States can't own land in America. Let's see what that says. Okay. Spanish grand jury issue jurisdiction validity of land titles. This case is significant as it reflects the complexity of land ownership, legal claims, and context of U.S. territory expansion following the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo. Now, Guadalupe Hidalgo, that treaty is null and void. Let's see here. So this is the heirs of Henry Turner, Tunica. Oh, this is the Moorish. This is what the Washita thing they had on right here. There it is right there. All right, let me bring that back and let's let him finish. Let's let him finish.
1848, the Supreme Court of the United States ruled that the United States can never own this land because this land belongs to the mound builders. Okay, North America belongs to the mound builders, aka Turtle Island. Okay, so if the land belongs to us, why are we going to vote for a government called the United States or so-called government, right? So I want y'all to look up this. This is a
I know none of your business. You are an Indian extremist. I don't expect anything less from you. We're good. Trust me.
Supreme Court case law. Barrows, Barrow versus Baltimore mayor and city council, right?
Okay, so he said what? Barrow versus what? Hold on. Oh, what did it say about him? Okay, that's right, my man. About that time. All right, let's go here. What did he say? Let's go back about. There we go.
Government called the United States, or so-called government, right? So I want y'all to look up this. This is a Supreme Court case law. Barrows, Barrow versus Baltimore mayor and city council, right? The Supreme Court ruled,
Okay, Barrow versus Maryland mayor and city council. Okay, there you go. That was Barron. He said W. Boy, he be tearing shit up, don't he? All right. There we go.
Court ruled that there's two types of people here on this land. Okay, one is the American people or the American Indians, which is us. The next one is the United States citizen. Okay, and it explains to you that the United States citizens have no rights on this land. The United States have no rights on this land because this land belongs to the indigenous people. Okay, so if this land belongs to the indigenous people and the United States have no rights here, why is Jack?
Hey, Enox, this dude cooking. This is my third one I brought up with him. This dude be cooking. You see, I'm taking notes, right? I'm taking notes. He ain't, you know what I'm saying? I don't know everything. Ain't got time to do the research. This dude is cooking. I've learned a lot. I mean, he's actually put some pieces together that I had over here and over there and over there. He's bringing it together like Voltron. This dude be cooking. See, this is how you do it. Not just talking, give me case law, give me a code, give me quote, give me. That's what I'm talking about, man. This dude is on. Man, I'm gonna message this guy and say, man, come on up here, YouTube. Let's talk about it. Just talk about it.
Jasmine Crockett, Barack Obama, Roland Martin, D.L. Hughley, and all these other motherfuckers telling you to go vote for the United States. Why? Why? And why are you getting your stupid hammer-headed ass up to go vote for these motherfuckers?
Your hammer-headed ass.
You already free. If Jasmine Crockett, D.L. Hughley, Barack Obama, Stacey Abrams, Jasmine Crockett, all the Democrats, all these motherfuckers, if they want to see you free, all they got to do is call you indigenous. All they got to tell you is your true identity is the indigenous people. You own the land. Okay, so let me help y'all out. Okay, so if you look on back of the dollar bill, there's two governments there. The one to the left is the pyramid. That's the Morocco government. That's our government. Our government has a constitution called the Magna Carta. When you vote for the United States, you go under their constitution, right? So you fall under their jurisdiction, which means that you don't have any rights. That's why they take away your kids. That's why they kick you out your own house on your own fucking land and make you buy water and pay for power on your own fucking land. Because your goofy ass too fucking dumb to understand that you don't belong there. You don't belong there. That's why the police always pulling you over and giving you tickets. Because you keep going and voting for these motherfuckers to tell you you need a driver's license to travel on your own fucking land. You need a driver's license to travel on your own fucking land. Now, I'm going to ask a question, right? Has anybody ever heard any of these other countries giving out speeding tickets in their land? Because Germany got something called the Autobahn, right? And it's a big freeway, and people drive like almost 200 miles an hour on every day. So why don't they get tickets? Why is speeding tickets only here in our country? because we keep voting for these dumb motherfuckers to treat us like that and tell us what to do on our own land and how to drive and how to maneuver on our own land because we don't fucking get it. Bill.
See, that's what I've been saying. You see, he needs a little more diplomacy in his life, you know, but I could tell he pretty much gathering the information. He's full of fire and he's angry. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm angry too. You got to channel it though, brother. Clay, channel it. Get the information out. You got good information. Very well. Very well done. Got a little bit more. I'm going to open up the panel.
Bill Gates said it best. Bill Gates said black people are naive and stupid, right? Because we don't pay attention to shit. They use Jasmine Crockett. They use Barack Obama. They use Jesse Jackson. They use the NAACP. They use all these people to.
They ain't using nothing. Hey, Clay, it's the only time I'm going to disagree with you, bro. They ain't using nothing. These people are signing up. These people have family bloodlines of hatred for American Indians. That's what they got. So they not being duped or convinced or anything. They are signing up. They have their own circles of things. These people are signing up. That's all they want. They do not. This is the only thing that got these people still running around doing what they're doing because ain't nobody even pointed in their direction yet. Everybody's focused on the white people. And that's where they want everybody to stay focused at, on white people. So-called white people. Excuse me. They do not want the thing to be pointed at Stephen. That's why Stephen dropped the cane and called him an uppity ass nigga. Accent changed, everything changed. Enunciation, all that. So Clay, stop bailing. Don't bail these people out.
To help hide our identity. And y'all, and every day y'all love these people. Y'all still go here and fight for these people. These people don't give a shit about you. If these people care about you, well, tell them call you by your true identity. Tell them call you indigenous. And you ain't got to worry about voting. And you ain't got to worry about going down to the DMV to get a driver's license. You ain't got to worry about going to renew tags. You ain't got to worry about renew registration. Because you own the land. You own the land. So when you go to vote for the United States, you give up your rights. You give up all your rights. And that's why you're being treated the way you are. Because y'all so far up Jasmine Crockett ass can't see that Jasmine Crockett is the clown face for the system. Jasmine Crockett is the crown face for the system. All these black folks that's running and telling y'all to go vote like Stacey Abrams and stuff like that.
Now, he got a point there. You know, I watch the white people news. You know what channel that is? Fox News. Fox News is pale skin city. Any nigga on there is a house nigga. Bottom line. You know what I'm saying? And they love them. They love them house niggas. But them house niggas is in control. You know what I'm saying? So, under the circumstances, let me get back to what he's saying is the point. Is that they show her, Crockett, I don't know how many times throughout the day per week. And, you know, and then they was talking about, oh, yeah, you know, they bring out, oh, she might be running for governor and all this stuff. And, yeah, maybe she could be doing this and doing it. It's like they be promoting these people. But They supposed to be talking about racism and all that stuff, but they be having them up on their shows and they be promoting them, talking about them, and doing all kind of shit, which is interesting to me. These people, Mandambi, all these people, but they're promoting, they're talking about them. So what does that say about them? Them meaning these pale skins that be on Fox News. They're always talking about these specific people. And they put them up on the screen because those are the people that they want us to attract to. Hey, gravitate to them. Pale skin hate, so we like. Pale skin hate, we like. Even though they know that they still running in the same race, same team. So I agree with Clay on this part.
You're giving up your rights. If these people mean you any good, they can tell you that you are the indigenous one and you own the land. That's how you fight for people's rights.
They're not even going to do that. They do that, done. Clay, they don't even worry about that. Don't even get upset. Don't worry yourself about that. They're not going to do it. And when they do it, because I got another clip I'm going to show, because I got this one from None of Your Business on this same young lady, and I didn't do this on purpose. This segued right into her. I didn't even know what he was going to be saying. I ain't even listened to this yet. I got this from None of Your, I saved None of Your Businesses for last. You know. And, you know, the Tucker Carlson one. So I've used a few. So now you're seeing the ones I like to use. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. Watch when we get to her. Everybody will like, see, she's good. Yeah, right.
You tell them the truth. They know you're not black. They know you're not Negro. They know you're not colored. They know you're not African American, right? Because even the African Americans don't call themselves Africans. They call themselves Ghanaians, Haitians, Jamaicans. They don't call themselves African. So how we get the title? And to prove that we are not African American, if you're paying attention, like all these other countries are kicking the United States or so-called United States people and the American Indians off their land. Because if you take your black ass down to Ghana, they're going to kick your ass right back out there. That tells you you're not African American. And the Africans that live over there don't call themselves African American. So how we get the title? How did we get the title?
All right, he on the soapbox. All right, let's get to the chat a little bit. Let's see what we're talking about. Say, Coach, you see too much weed. See you too much. We need Mrs. Coach out here. All right. Whatever that means, none of your business. Whatever that means. All right. What she say? E nuts. You said that's true, man. Well, not enough of us have done our genealogy. Okay, yeah, that's true. I need my woman up here to be my co-host. That's the only one capable of taming you. Well, she don't want to have nothing to do. She don't. My woman do that. My woman, she's a business. She deal with business. She ain't got no time for all this. Yep. Trust and believe, though. She's listening. RIGRJ22. What's going on, brother? What's happening? What's happening? Who else fell in here? I didn't view here. Yeah, but nah. She's sitting in the back chilling. She is not dealing with me with this. You know, I'm wild with. All right, so look. Okay, so let me bring this here. And you know, this was Miss Jasmine Crockett. She started off with something. It was interesting. See what she's saying.
From their land, where our indigenous sexist and racist part of, and it's a fact that there is a committee to hear about the true history of Pride Rally discuss.
Okay. Let's hear her out. It's about 5 minutes. I didn't listen to the whole thing, but we'll see what's happening. Where are we at in the time? We had 3 hours. All right, let's see what Jasmine talking about.
Guys, as a congressional hearing, it might be uncomfortable for some people on this committee to hear about the true history of America. And I hate that for them, but facts are facts. And it's a fact that there is a violent, exclusionary, discriminatory, sexist, and racist part of American history, where our indigenous populations were forcibly displaced from their land, where thousands of Black people were unjustly lynched, where Black people were denied the right to vote, and they still trying to do it today, where women needed their husband's permission to open a bank account, where people with disabilities were routinely excluded from schools, workplaces, and public life, where 4 little Black girls were murdered by the KKK at the 16th Street Baptist Church. And a lot of this wasn't that long ago. In fact, 3 of those little girls would be 77 and 1 would be 74. More than 40 members of Congress serving right now would be older than them. Ruby Bridges, who was the first Black child to desegregate an all-white school, is only 71 years old. More than 100 members of Congress serving right now are older than her. So attacks on the Smithsonian or any other institution that's willing to tell the true history of America is not only an attempt to rewrite history, it's an attempt to erase history. So Dr.
She said an attack on the Smithsonian. Y'all agree with that? What's going on, Indigenous Minds? Appreciate you being here, man. Make sure all y'all, post it on your page, on your channel, on your lines or whatever. You know what I'm saying? You hit the thumbs up if you want. You don't have to, but put it on your page. That works. Let it get it out. It sounded like she was talking about an attack on the Smithsonian. Let's go back a little bit.
Or any other institution. White school is only 71 years old. More than 100 members of Congress serving right now are older than her. So attacks on the Smithsonian.
100 members of Congress are over the age of 71. Man, go home. Open up them spots for some younger people. What good are y'all? They should have like a advisory board. You know what I'm saying? Like most nonprofits do. Have an advisory board. If they want to hang around, be on the advisory board. Make an advisory board for these people, so they can be coached and all that stuff. And, if they got any questions, they come to them and whatever. You give them a little pension for being there so goddamn long. Advisory board. But the day-to-day functions and everything, nah, man, like, go home. Go walk your dog. Play with your grandchildren. By this time, you got great-grandchildren, maybe great-great-grandchildren. Come on, man. Your grandchildren probably old enough to be in office. Sheesh.
Or any other institution that's willing to tell the true history of America is not only an attempt to rewrite history, it's an attempt to erase history. So Dr. Blight, if Republicans are going to tell 70 and 40 at the 6th session to open a bank account where people with disabilities were routinely excluded from schools, workplaces, and public life, where 4 little Black girls were murdered by the KKK at the 16th Street Baptist Church, and a lot of this wasn't that long ago. In fact, 3 of those little girls.
Facts, big dog. They've been stealing our history. What? Why is she? I'm just saying, did I catch? I want to hear about what she said about the Smithsonian.
Would be 77 and 1 would be 74. More than 40 members of Congress serving right now would be older than them. Ruby Bridges, who was the first Black child to desegregate an all-white school, is only 5 minutes. Welcome to the Republicans' White Pride Rally.
Did I miss it? I thought I heard Smithsonian. Hold on, we gotta rewind it back. I thought I heard Smithsonian.
Disguised as a congressional.
Hold on, let me drop the link. We drop the link right now. And what I'm gonna do, let me go ahead and do this real quick. Let me do that. Put it in the let me stop sharing and make it its own independent screen. Let me share, boom, let's put it back up. Bam, there we go. Boom. All right, so now let's run it and let me pin it to the top.
Hearing. It might be uncomfortable for some people on this committee to hear about the true history of America. And I hate that for them, but facts are facts. And it's a fact that there is a violent, exclusionary, discriminatory, sexist, and racist part of American history, where our indigenous populations were forcibly displaced from their land, where thousands of Black people were unjustly lynched, where Black people were denied the right to vote, and they still trying to do it today, where women needed their husband's permission to open a bank account, where people with disabilities were routinely excluded from schools, workplaces, and public life, where 4 little Black girls were murdered by the KKK at the 16th Street Baptist Church. And a lot of this wasn't that long ago. In fact, 3 of those little girls would be 77 and 1 would be 74. More than 40 members of Congress serving right now would be older than them. Ruby Bridges, who was the first Black child to desegregate an all-white school, is only 71 years old. More than 100 members of Congress serving right now are older than her. So attacks on the Smithsonian or any other institution that's willing to tell the true history of America is not only an attempt to rewrite history, it's an attempt to erase history.
Okay. You see how she did that? That was slick, wasn't it? That was kind of slick. The link's in the chat and it's pinned to the top. That was kind of slick how she did that. She went through that whole diatribe of them girls. And you check, she only mentioned girls. Young Black girls. That would be 70-something. Right? So I don't know what point she's trying to make with that. I ain't even about to help her out with that one. But all that to come back and say destroying the Smithsonian. I mean, these own people back here, these own paleskins and everybody else that's talked about the Smithsonian over these times over the last, I would say, 10 years, saying the Smithsonian was solely responsible. The other place that they don't mention is the Arthur Schomburg Library in New York. Arthur Schomburg. Arthur Schomburg, yeah. So let's continue.
So Dr. Blight, if Republicans are going to ban books, penalize schools and universities, attack museums, if states continue to change curriculum, where do Americans go to learn about the complicated, sometimes racist and violent parts of American history?
Thank you for the question. I think they will have to keep going to the same institutions, and we have to keep fighting to preserve what we are doing in those institutions. They have to keep going to public schools. They have to keep going to their public libraries. They have to keep going to the great Smithsonian. Look, the purpose of history is to enlighten us, inspire us, trouble us, bother us, sometimes make us angry. I find it hard to believe that a young person could go through the Museum of American History and not come out at least inspired with the single most important thing, a sense of the past, a sense of history. Americans have to keep going to those places they trust. We have to keep those institutions trustworthy.
Thank you so much. In fact, that takes me to Dr. Hardig. They accuse you and the Smithsonian of sowing division in this country. However, before the White House deleted it, the Departments of Justice and Homeland Security found the biggest domestic threat to the United States is violent white supremacists. So I have a couple of questions for you. First, to the best of your knowledge, has the museum ever been linked to any violent act that has occurred in the United States or against the U.S. government?
Thank you, ma'am. Not to the best of my knowledge.
Your knowledge, has the museum ever been linked to any violent act that has occurred in the United States or against the U.S. government?
Yo, I'm doing something right now. What's happening? What do you guys think about that? Guys, she asked the question. Let's see where she stands on it. So let's go back. I got a phone call, so let's go back.
A couple of questions for you. First, to the best of your knowledge, has the museum ever been linked to any violent act that has occurred in the United States or against the U.S. government?
Thank you, ma'am. Not to the best of my knowledge.
See that question? In the United States or against the U.S. government? All righty.
I don't think many of these white supremacists can even read, but to the best of your knowledge, can you identify a single artifact in your museum that would divide the country?
To the best of my knowledge, ma'am, no. I hope that they unite the country through a shared understanding of our past.
Do you think, or do you ask the political affiliation of any of your employees before you hire them?
Absolutely not, ma'am. It's against the Hatch Act of 1939.
I'm glad that you know the law, but nevertheless, do you ask if they've donated to political campaigns?
Absolutely not, ma'am. It's against the Hatch Act of 1939.
We need a briefing in this building, but nevertheless, do you only hire non-white people?
No, ma'am.
In fact, almost 60% of the Smithsonian's total workforce is men and more than 50% is white. 90% of Smithsonian employees making senior level pay are white and 60% of them are men. I don't understand this fetish that these white guys with fragile egos have with trying to feel oppressed. It reminds me of the same people MLK was referring to when he said, quote, they believe that American society is essentially hospitable to fair play and to steady growth towards a middle-class utopia embodying racial harmony. But unfortunately, this is a fantasy of self-deception and comfortable vanity. I want to go back real quick, though, Dr. Blight, because you talked about the World Cup. The World Cup that captured the imaginations of the entire world when they saw all of these people of color that was playing for all these teams. And ultimately, if you recall, the last two teams, it was Argentina and Spain. And it seemed like the vast majority of the world was rooting for Argentina, or actually against Argentina, right? And why was that? Just give me an explanation if you could guess, if you'll just let them finish the answer.
Spain had the best team. Maybe that's why they were rooting for them.
There's also a racist history that exists.
Mr. Byer, you're recognized.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge, Ms. Crockett.
And I just want to clarify one thing, because there is this perception that is consistently. Welcome to the Republic.
There was something that she was supposed to. I heard something about Indians. What was that?
Ken's White Pride rally disguised as a congressional hearing. It's a fact that there is a violent, exclusionary, discriminatory, sexist, and racist part of American history, where our indigenous populations were forcibly displaced from their land, where thousands of Black people were.
So she said, oh, there it is. She said indigenous peoples was displaced from their land. So obviously that's not her. That's where I was at with it. Is that not her? Maybe it ain't.
Unjustly lynched, where Black people were denied the right to vote, and they still trying to do it today.
And they're still trying to do it today. Anybody got a problem voting? Anybody? Raise your hand. And she said indigenous, then she went straight to Black. So was that her little play of mixing them together? I don't have nothing else. You know, and she does the whole little sister girl type play and all that shit, but it's not cool. It's not entertaining. You know what I'm saying? And then she pretty much came for the Smithsonian. Anyway, that's it for me. I don't know. I was hoping somebody could help me out with this. I don't really got anything else to say, but you know, this was a good bill. This was a good bill, good information. Great information. Appreciate those links. None of your business. Nah, she wasn't. She wasn't talking about us. She wasn't talking about us at all. She mentioned indigenous people, but she wasn't talking about us though. She was talking about something else. Yeah, I think she thought she could throw that in as if that'd be like a brownie point for her or something like that. But no, because she went from indigenous to Black. And then she went and talked about employment. And then she went into the racial thing again. And then she said civil rights, people are still trying to vote. Voters and all that stuff. You know. And then she went into the employment of these people here. She went straight to that. So I got something I want to show you guys. I got something I want to show. Why she brought that up, I just thought about this one. Let me show y'all something. Let me keep her little cute face up there. Let me show you guys something. Where is it at? Boom, boom, boom. Let's go here. Let's go here. Give me a second. I want to bring this up. All right, here you go. All right. Okay, let me stop sharing this. I'm going to show you this. This came up. Thought it was interesting. I don't know if everybody ever seen this documentary. It's called Freedom to Fascism. It's called Freedom to Fascism. And this is a little excerpt popped up from this young lady. And let me reboot this thing and make sure it's.
Okay, guys, I'm going to share a video that I think is very interesting. I'm going to reshare it, actually. I shared it a long time ago. But it's Aaron Russo, who is a famous director, being interviewed by Alex Jones. And
now, Aaron Russo produced Trading Places with Dan Aykroyd and Eddie Murphy. Probably one of the best movies ever. And I say that coming from an older perspective versus being young and laughing and being comedic. But that's another movie people should watch. We got Jack the Giant Slayer. That's a good one. When we talk about them trees. And we got Trading Places. Okay. So just keep that in mind. Aaron Russo, Freedom to Fascism.
Aaron Russo, used to hobnob with David Rockefeller. He was friends with him. So David Rockefeller divulges this super interesting tidbit. Check it out.
Shout out to Crockett and every other woman like her. Guess what?
One of the things they told me was that he's at the house one night and he would talk and he started laughing. He said, Aaron, what do you think women's liberation was about? And I said, I had pretty conventional thinking about it at that point. I said, I think it's about women having the right to work, getting equal pay with men, just like they won the right to vote, And he started to laugh. He said, you're an idiot. And I said, why am I an idiot? He said, let me tell you what that was about. We, the Rockefellers, funded that. We funded women's lib, And we're the ones who got all over the newspapers and television, the Rockefeller Foundation. He says, and you want to know why? He says, there were two primary reasons. And one reason was we couldn't tax half the population before women's lib. And the second reason was now we get the kids in school at an early age. We can indoctrinate the kids how to think. It breaks up the family. The kids start looking at the state as the family, as the school, as the officials, as their family, not as the parents teaching them. And so those are the two primary reasons for women's lib, which I thought up to that point was a noble thing. When I saw their intentions behind it, where they were coming from when they created it, the thought of it, I saw the evil behind what I thought was a noble venture.
Aaron, did you know that Gloria Steinem, in one of her own books, now admits the CIA funded Miss Magazine?
No, I had no idea about that. No, I never heard that.
Yeah, we're going to...
CIA funded Miss Magazine?
Funded Miss Magazine with the stated goal of taxing women and breaking up the family.
No kidding. I never heard that. Well, Nick told me. I mean, I know it, but not because I know the CIA was involved in it.
Well, Gloria Steinem was proud of it. Oh, the CIA wanted to help women.
No kidding.
So they funded it, yeah. And of course, it's divide and conquer.
Right,
and what they do is they focus in, obviously, on real problems. Women were getting shafted in many ways, but the elite wasn't planning to help them. They were planning to really shaft them and take men away from them. Look at what they did with black families. You only had about 10% illegitimacy 50 years ago in black communities, and now it's over 90%. And look at welfare. You were going to give you some money, but you can't have a man in the house.
Right.
And so that was further to degrade the family,
Yeah.
totally destroyed. And now illegitimacy is over 50%.
Now, this is one of the reasons why I homeschool. So Aaron Russo also made a documentary about the income tax actually being illegal. It's called America from Freedom to Fascism. You can find it on YouTube. Go find it, watch it, come tell me what you think in the comments.
What you think about her now? What's up, old dude? Now, this is where you get to the point where you can say, now you can analyze what people say. So what she's saying, hold on, let me bring her back up. Let me bring young Jazz up here. Young Jazz, I think she'd like to be called Jazzy Jazz. What's going on, Jazzy Jazz? She gonna be like, hey, what's going on there? I'm a ski wee. Now, let's hear her again. And she ain't talking. That's a lie. You got indigenous people under these new rules, these plenary actions being displaced now because somebody is a part of a continual line of people that allowed it or got on that side to make it happen. See what I'm saying? Congress, which she is a part of. Another lie. And that was true. You hate that for them. But facts are facts, huh? Let's see what fact you about to pull out. That's a lie. You just heard Aaron Russo and the other guy that was my guy, InfoWars guy. Forget his name. It's that guy with the frog in his throat. That's a lie. That's a lie. That was true. That's a lie. That's a lie. And remember, this indigenous thing, forcibly being removed, they was doing that through plenary actions. They was using the courts to do that. They wasn't forcibly doing nothing. Remember that, Crockett. See, you that type of verbiage weakens the people. You're not gonna say that we were weak like that. Wasn't happening. They will trick. It was doing it by trick. And if you didn't know what was going on, you didn't know how to beat that up in court like my uncle did. So you're lying. You said one thing right, unjustly being lynched. That's still going on. But how did that happen? People like you. That's another lie. We had our own schools. We had our own communities. We had our own. See, these plenary acts, this civil rights shit that you guys want to get us involved in, and we wouldn't get involved. So you guys had to use plenary actions through Congress, implement it through the courts, get it signed off on in the courts, where now the Article 2 can enforce it some way and create territories, imaginary borderlines, to make these areas that aren't supposed to be incorporated.
Ruby Bridges, who was the first Black child to desegregate an all-white school, is only 71 years old. More than 100 members of Congress serving right now are older than her. So attacks on the Smithsonian or any other institution that's willing to tell the true history of America is not only an attempt to rewrite history, it's an attempt to erase history.
What history? I mean, my bad. I thought I'd put the screen back up. You guys heard it, though. What history? That history you're talking about? That's a movie. That's a script. That's an act. Not true. And she's reading. You know why she's reading? Because she didn't write it. That didn't come from her. Anybody that knows this and really feels it deep down in their soul, you ain't got to talk about, you ain't got to read. You can spit it like I do.
So, Dr. Blight, if Republicans are going to ban books, penalize schools and universities, attack museums, if states continue to change curriculum, where do Americans go to learn about the complicated, sometimes racist and violent parts of American history?
Look at her. Look at her. Got them big old glasses on her dang old bottom of her nose, hiding her eyes. That's what she's doing. She's doing that to hide her eyes.
Thank you for the question. I think they will have to keep going to the same institutions, and we have to keep fighting to preserve what we are doing. Of history. I find it hard to believe. Sense of history. Trustworthy.
Before the White House deleted it, the Departments of Justice and Homeland, they accuse you and the Smithsonian of sowing division in this country. However, before the White House deleted it, the Departments of Justice and Homeland Security found the biggest domestic threat to the United States is violent white supremacists. So I have a couple of questions for you.
There we go. White supremacists.
First, to the best of your knowledge, has the museum ever been linked to any violent act that has occurred in the United States or against the U.S. government?
Thank you, ma'am. Not to the best of my knowledge.
I don't think many of these white supremacists can even read, but to the best of your knowledge, can you identify a single artifact in your museum that would divide the country?
To the best of my knowledge, ma'am, no. I hope that they unite the country through a shared understanding of our past.
Do you think, or do you ask the political affiliation of any of your employees before you hire them?
Absolutely not, ma'am. It's against the Hatch Act of 1939.
I'm glad that you know the law, but nevertheless, do you
All right. Let's get into the women and the men.
You ask if they've donated to political campaigns?
Absolutely not, ma'am. It's against the Hatch Act of 1939.
We need a briefing in this building, but nevertheless, do you only hire non-white people?
No, ma'am.
In fact, almost 60% of the Smithsonian's total workforce is men and more than 50% is white. 90% of Smithsonian employees making senior level pay are white and 60% of them are men. I don't understand this fetish that these white guys with fragile egos have with trying to feel oppressed. It reminds me of the same people MLK was referring to when he said, quote, they believe that American society is essentially hospitable to fair play and to steady growth towards a middle-class utopia embodying racial harmony. But unfortunately, this is a fantasy of self-deception and comfortable vanity.
You see what I'm saying? It's like, you would say, well, how's that a lie? A half truth is a full lie. You get it? It's called moral turpitude. You see what I'm saying? So at the same time, people, she has, yeah, that's right, old dude. She does. She does the two-step with him. Yeah, because she, let her tell it, she is the blackest of the women. You know what I mean? She throw the hands, she got the extensions and all that stuff, and she got the right little talk. She does everything. She practiced good. Practice good. She puts on a good show. And everybody say, oh, she told him, look at that sister up there. She young and she getting it in. And she's still telling truth to power. Talking truth to power. Right. Anyway. Now, Freedom to Fascism came out, shit, how long ago? Shit, almost about 20 years ago. I think she was maybe 15, 16, 17, something like that, maybe 18. You know what I mean? A lot of this stuff that came out a long time ago. But, you know, like people like this, as long as they're around, this is the obstacle we got to get through because they got the loud voices. You see, they got the loud voices and ain't nobody gonna question her. nobody's going to even talk about the fact that her so-called man or security was doing this and she was paying, you know what I mean? Doing all kind of shit. All kind of shit. Hold on. I got something else for y'all. Got something else. Got something else. Got something else. Got something else for y'all. Check this out. Since we're talking about her. Got something else. Got something else. I don't know if anybody's seen this one before. Got something else. But hold on a sec.
NFL. NBA or NFL. 36 have
He said NBA or NFL. He said 36.
been accused of spousal abuse.
NFL.
7 have been arrested for fraud.
NBA.
19 have been accused of writing bad checks.
NBA.
117 have directly or indirectly been bankrupted at least 2 businesses.
NFL.
3 have done time for assault.
NBA.
71, I repeat, 71 cannot get a credit card due to their bad credit.
NFL.
14 have been arrested on drug-related charges. 8
NBA.
have been arrested for shoplifting.
NFL.
21 currently are defendants in lawsuits, and 84 have been arrested for
no.
drunk driving in the last year. How many of you think NBA? How many of you think NFL?
I don't know.
Well, the answer is neither. It's the 435 members of the United States Congress.
Woo!
He said, ooh. Yeah. Did y'all catch that? You want to play it again? Let's play it again.
NBA or NFL. 36 have been accused of spousal abuse.
NFL.
7 have been arrested for fraud.
NBA.
19 have been accused of writing bad checks.
NBA.
117 have directly or indirectly been bankrupted at least 2 businesses.
NFL.
3 have done time for assault.
NBA.
71, I repeat, 71 cannot get a credit card due to their bad credit.
NFL.
14 have been arrested on drug-related charges. 8
NBA.
have been arrested for shoplifting.
NFL.
21 currently are defendants in lawsuits, and 84 have been arrested for
no.
drunk driving in the last year. How many of you think NBA? How many of you think NFL?
I don't know.
Well, the answer is neither. It's the 435 members of the United States Congress.
Woo!
NBA or
See what I'm saying? Now, you know that Crockett, they was talking about her. Yeah, she one of them. I don't know if y'all remember this, but before Trump had got in, or when he had got in, you know what I'm saying? They was doing something over there in Texas and they needed something done, and she fled. She was one of them that fled Texas. See if I can pull this thing up, man. See if I can pull this thing up. See, don't play with me. You know, this is absolutely kind of like, it's kind of disgusting. It's sick. People come up here and they give them a mic, and then these like Fox News and all that, CNN, they be throwing them up there too. Just throw them up there, put them all in our face. They over here acting a goddamn fool. You see what happened to old girl Fanny up there in Georgia? You know what I'm saying? And now all of a sudden, even with the girl that was running for governor up there, got her name, Trump calls her Miss Piggy or whatever. I don't know. all of a sudden now she want to come out and be holier than thou and talk about the system and how when you wasn't talking about it. That's because APAC was snatched from y'all. So now y'all really ain't got no money. You see what I'm saying? Let me see. Okay, she 45. Let me see. She said, I'm a Texas lawmaker. Why Democrats like me fled our homes and haven't been back? Hold on real quick. Where does it go? Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Boy, they didn't smear this thing. Anyway, yeah, I can't get nothing good on this one. But hey, I mean, like I said, I mean, it doesn't bother me for the most part, and yeah, we do. Oh, dude, we got a lot of serious things going on. But I make joke of it because anybody that actually be falling through that and actually make that a talking point, like they cheer her on and they try to get, blow the thing up, make it something extra, like she's actually doing something. They're the joke. It's the joke, and she know it is. She's well off. She ain't come from no hood. She ain't come from no background that was in one of anything. Her parents made good money. She went to a private school that paid like $30,000 a year. So she did all right for herself. And she had no worries in the world. So, this little dog and pony show that these people like to do is hey, something that is very, 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 funny to me. That's what I was saying. Can of oil. But anyway, appreciate everybody being here. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna call it, and guys, enjoy the rest of the evening. And like I said, we're gonna throw these cuts on. Let me close out some of these. Oh, I can't close these out. I gotta bookmark these. I got those bookmarked. I could delete that. And yeah. So let's go ahead and take it from here. And let me grab these. I'm gonna play this little music on the way out. You know what I mean? We're gonna put on the old dude cut. And you know what I'm saying? Then I'll play these last little cuts and then we out of here. All right. Don't go nowhere yet. Let me get this other stuff together and close these things out, close the music, and then y'all can exit. Class not over yet. Stay in your seats. So I'm gonna start off with this one. I'm gonna play this part 2 to King Chameleon's royalty over slavery. And I forgot he shot me the video. So I'm gonna go ahead and play this video first. This is part 2. I know we got part 1. Well, let me just do part 1 first, and then we'll play the video second. And then let's do it like this. Stop screen. Let's go here. And no, let's play the video. Y'all haven't seen the video. We'll play the video. All right, I made up my mind. We're gonna play the video. All right, let's get it. I know y'all. All right, let's go.
Yeah, I can get your land back. Yeah, I can discharge your debt. You gotta live by 5 principles before we just connect. Cause you could pose as my friend and then really be the threat. Like Brutus the Julius to the dudes that killed Malcolm X. Get your hand out of my pocket! Get your hand out of my pocket, nigga! Get your hand out of my pocket! Get your hand out of my pocket! Brother, please. Y'all think getting remedies important. We make your lawyers lose their indemnity insurance. King Chameleon, private, I don't wanna be popular. Grandpapa, Hulk Papa, Mama Black Mafia. Yeah, we them big owners holding rank. You call Rocket lawyer, I call the owner of the bank. He in the private at the temple, like Ginobili in the paint. And we got 3 militaries, we might be rolling in some tanks. While you balancing with a check gross, going to work for debt notes. Overtime all your life paying mortgages, then you left broke. Damn. Shout out to Mayweather, who's obviously woke. He settled $18 million with a promissory note. I'm not your corporation's chattel, this world gotta be a joke. Blind leading the blind, so we never gonna see.
But I tell you what, I don't know about you, but I'm going to go to bed.
Everybody fake woke while the president is asleep. So I introvert myself, cause it's evident to me. No one saves us but us. Buddha said it in BC. No title, deeds are just reference the evidence to me. Man, you don't own it, you a tenant, and it says it on your deed. You said with a sign, but didn't take the time to even read. There's gotta be an idiocracy. They call you crazy as Kanye, just for thinking logically. 2 million nationals backing us to stop who ain't stopping me. For instance, when Columbus came over here, they admitted Native Americans was already there. But if our kids take a test on who discovered land we on, and you say Native Americans, you get the question wrong. Don't lie to us, you ain't just a colonist. Can't hide the truth. We got all the proof from the anthropologists. We know the system now, it's time to get up out of it. But it's our fault, cause we fought so hard to be a part of it.
I will never say that progress is being made. If you stick a knife in my back 9 inches and pull it out 6 inches, there's no progress. You pull it all the way out, that's not progress. The progress is healing the wound that's a blow made. And they haven't even begun to pull a knife out, much less try and heal the wound. They won't even admit the knife is there.
All people trying to burn us, out and selling services with disclaimers, saying that it ain't for legal purposes. No cash, broke ass, internet burglars with temporary schemes and a lot of fraudulent dreams. Yeah, we got our own embassy, we got our own consulate, foreign administrations, and 3 armies on top of it. We live by 5 principles, but we'll die for this. Freedom back to the people, protect them from the apocalypse. I took that title that they gave me and I clouded it. That's what you say, sets the Cuban. I got a bond with this. My way of thinking pissed the military off. I ain't with their way of thinking, Roman military law. We coming peaceful outside the mosque and the cathedral. And we'll resort to violence. I gotta protect my people. They call us ghetto, they call us thugs. The only God they worship, guns, oil, and drugs. I'm on the block, Martin Luther King was shot. Holding the gun that killed Kennedy, trying to find a remedy. You can't cancel me nor censor me. With chancery and sensory, God-like energy to infinity. My actions are my testament. I got a lot of questioning. How Ben Frank was on 100 but was never president. You broke, you go to jail. You got money, you get right out. They lock you up for drugs, but they got coke in the White House. What?
Yep, that's a goodie right there. That is a goodie. What do I do with that one? Yep, there we go. All right. Like I said, yep, that's him right there. That is King Chameleon. Shout out to him. Shout out to old dude for the beats. He said we might have to write some lyrics to that. Yeah, could work on that. Definitely we could work on that. But good night, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go home. Doop, 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 doop. Hey, look. Great one again. Shout out to Enoch, Done Your Business, Isness, Richie Rich, everybody that was up in here, old dude. Everybody else that was in there, I'm not going to roll through the whole thing. But yeah, those that was blowing up the chat, appreciate you being here. And like I said, tomorrow we'll go live. We're just going to open the panel up. Let's get busy. I'll throw some things together, make it roll. All right. We got our last ones that we're going to do like we normally do. And when it's over, it's over. Peace. All right. Boom. Where are we at here? All right. There we go.
We want freedom by any means necessary. We want justice by any means necessary. We want equality by any means necessary. We don't feel that in 1964, living in a country that is supposedly based upon freedom and supposedly the leader of the free world, we don't think that we should have to sit around and wait for
all of your assets you have to protect it. Just set your trust up, come get your status corrected. You know we moving more than mountains. Fuck your school, fuck your voting system, fuck your water fountains. Melanin, I know you heard of me. You can never murder me. I want that gold you owe me now and gold from 1933. I want y'all to stand on all the treaties that you sold to me. Cause we was already here, y'all came on a boat to me. And know this God-given land we all holding feet. Simple, absolute gratitude, your majesty. I shy not in my straw man, you not controlling me. Certified, signed, sealed, stamped by the notary. Don't try to lie to my face like you ain't just a colonist who tricked us with contracts, but you fail to acknowledge it. In history books of fertilizer, one big pile of shit. Acting like you freed us from slavery, but ain't abolished it. The plantation just got renovated. Driver's license and passports are the new slave papers. How they foreclosing on the ones they gave acres. We allowed them entry, even trusted them as neighbors. They took everything from us and made us ask for favors. And posed as the only helping hand that's there to save us. Boycott, don't try to keep up with the fad. Cause the money that we save, the properties that we rehab. Monopoly with the fad. Tears don't fall from my eyes. Cause they see our what, but they don't see our why. You was born in June, but I only seen July. Influenced by bad spirits like a DUI. You ain't do no estate planning, but you think you fly. Now we gon' need 3 fish fries to see you die. We the revolt, boy, don't play with me. The time is now, this royalty over slavery. Damn.
I let you hear that verse again.
Don't move it. Don't move it. Don't move it. Yeah. Don't move it. Don't move it. Don't move it.
I'm
I'm the coach, quotes coded in oath with a ghost loaded focus. Chrome in the coat, king with the cloak, smoking that hocus pocus. Infinite styles, pivot and pile up the mileage. I'm wild with the science. You see the line on my avatar, iron jaw pride. I ought to devour the silence. Why you niggas steady lying? Got me laughing hard, satire and fraud. I fire the squad. Wise get crossed when I'm sparring with all the guards. Author of art, carving a mark in the bark of the market at large. Target the sharks, heart of a Spartan. I sharpen the margin with bars. You rather bargain and dodge. I'd rather you come get your taxes done. Black suit, back room, facts in a stack. I'm relaxing the maximum. Get out of the pocket, the profit of rocket. Then I just might tax you punch. Bracket your funds, subtracting in chunks. Reacting to acid, you're begging to punch. Sometimes my community, hard-headed, scarred, dreading the lessons. I chart head and start spreading the message. Embedded in pressure. Sovereign living, I'm private with it. No corporate percentage. Discharging debt with a pen stroke. You still don't notice the vision. I've been telling y'all you don't want to debate me. Weighty and ready. Great with machetes, linguistically shredding the petty. Grab these 15 acres. Landscape major, plan made paper. Land patent stamped and sacred since my campaign greater. I ain't talking about Ice-T when I say that I can show you law and order. Court recorder, I sort the torture, contort the border. I eat the case, beat the state, leave a trace of the raw supporter. Briefcase aura, got your baby mama thinking that I'm a lawyer. Seminole Indian sentiment, militant on sovereign soil. Private enrollment, tribal component. I'm the boss, you trying to employ it.
Clutch, baby. Infinite.